a little bit of learning to do with exhaustion gaps with Sharif and Adara.
Yeah, Obi, slow down on your excitement.
Sorry, I gotta have some more coffee, man.
It's midday madness. It's Sharif and Adara. Here we go. We'll enjoy some jerk chicken. See you guys.
See you guys.
I love it. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to the Midday Show. How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara, and I am Sharif. And Wata Malone dropped a quick super chat towards the end of the show there, $1.99. We're going to have to shut him up for that. Amazing trades. NOS anchored VWAP, post, looks, bounce. Shout out to you. Hope you print. Hope everybody prints. All right, here we go. Getting in some people from the other stream. Botrix. Okay, he's just joined the channel. Shout out to him. JF Trader, Charon Tej, and we got Andrew Chow, Cesar Sandoval, Brendan, and TH, Picky Eater. He does not like eating any food. Ox Long, we got Smooth One J. Around and find out. That is a fantastic name. Hamster, shout out to my main man, Adam DeLuce. He's not ever losing. Carlos Brian, whatever. Bora, sorry, I hope you didn't butcher your name. Mark Knight, Pons, Lefonze, Alex Enzo as well. King Jesus joining us. Says, Adara, the one, as well as Glenn Smith, Blue Arrow, Curtis Cash, love that name as well. And Pass Overdose, not sure about that one. And Easy Trader. Good morning, Adara.
Morning, how are you doing today?
Cannot complain yourself.
I'm doing well. I tried a thing that I'm calling voluntary sleep deprivation. I'm joking. I did it one day. We'll see how this goes. Trying to consciously have less sleep. So we'll see how this goes for me, because that has been a struggle for me for sure. But you know what's not a struggle? Was this Tesla long. I'm really proud of this. I did some hardcore journaling last night. I was journaling. I was jotting. You know what I mean? I was like, how do I improve the trading? How do I improve the mental? And one thing I realized, I was like, Adara, you love those trades where you could scalp in and out. Just look for some of those. Tesla gave you one right here off the 90 MA. My initial impulse for this was going to be a hard range. We had the bottom here, 216, top at 218, right? Then I see we drop into like 217.50s. And we hold. And initially, you know, I see it look like this, I would want to short. But I'm like, Adara, the book is not telling you short here. The book is telling you long into at least 218. So I was planning to add in and out. I did not get my second edition. We bounced off 217.50 and then said sayonara. So I was like, cool, peace out. Got out part of the position, 20 pennies in the money, the rest about 30 pennies in the money. That was the look here in TSLA. We're going to be in full scalp season over here. Summer may be in full swing, but hopefully scalp season is always a season. But I see you are involved in the Zon.
Yeah, I see a bit of a resistance level at the $0.50, so we're just going to try our hand at this one, see if we can weasel it back down, possibly into low day. Good support in this area over here. Small position, we'll keep an eye on this one. I see you, Alex Enzo, D. Westermeyer, both answers on the new 8-ball. I'm not sure what that means. Dan Emmons, I just closed my final 1/3 of my NQ 20,400 short for 1,000 points. Shout out to Dan, the dang man, Emmons. I almost called him Evans there, but yeah, Dan the man Emmons, shout out to him. Futures trader extraordinaire. Keep your eye out on the chat for his levels, as well as Big Spile Burdette. They often trade different futures contracts, but if you're into that kind of thing, have a look there. All right, let's start the lesson du jour. We are talking about exhaustion gaps today. And there's going to be 2 days on exhaustion gaps. Reason is there are 2 different types of exhaustion gaps, and we don't have enough time to cover both of them today. So we're going to do one, and then tomorrow we're going to do the other. So traders, fasten your seatbelts. Today we'll explore exhaustion gaps, potential signals that a trend might be running out of steam. So what are exhaustion gaps, first and foremost? So imagine a strong uptrend that's been chugging along for days, weeks, whatever the time frame may be. Suddenly, a gap appears not upwards this time, but downwards. And I'm going to stop here and tell you there are 2 different types of exhaustion gaps. Ones that gap up and then close the gap super quick, and ones that gap down at the end of an uptrend. So 2 different types. That's why we're going to spend a couple of days on it. So when I say prices gap down here, I'm talking about the first type of exhaustion gap, the one that gaps down, not up. So that's an exhaustion gap, a significant jump down in price with no trading activity in between. It potentially signifies to you a loss of momentum and a possible trend reversal. So keep that in mind. Why are exhaustion gaps important? Well, first I'll show you exactly what it is. So this is the first type that we talked about, right? We're trending up, and then we gap down at the end of a really prolonged trend. If you're wondering where this typically happens in Elliott waves, since we just finished completing that lesson, it's typically in wave 5, right? So if you are able to identify the waves, you'll typically see this in wave 5. So that we're trending up, the trend preceding it is higher highs and higher lows. Then boom, some news catalyst, something comes in, we gap down, and there's a void in between the prior day closing price and the next day opening. And this is kind of how it looks as well. You see gap down again, and you can basically mix different shapes with the exhaustion gaps. In this particular case, you're getting a double top, which is even more, it's even better. Okay? So the importance of exhaustion gaps. Why are they important? Well, they're showing you that there's trend exhaustion possibly here. Exhaustion gaps often occur near the end of a strong trend, indicating to you that buyers are losing confidence and sellers are gaining control in the case of a bearish exhaustion gap. Increased selling pressure as well, and we're talking here about bullish or bearish exhaustion gaps that happen at the end of a bull trend. So increased selling pressure typically accompanies these exhaustion gaps. The gaps down suggest a surge in selling pressure overwhelming the buying force that progressively propelled the trend. And there's also a notable psychological impact here as well, much like the one we talked about yesterday, bringing new money into the market. In this case, exhaustion gaps can trigger fear among trend-following traders, accelerating the selling pressure and potentially leading to an all-out trend reversal. So you got to keep that in mind. That's why these are important. Okay, I'm just going to quickly look at my position. Where the hell is Amazon? 33, so we're still 5 pennies out of the money. All right. So how do we trade these exhaustion gaps? Before we look at some of the false signals that can happen, we're going to talk about two different types of trades. One, profit taking for those who are long in the trend and how to look for possible signs of exhaustion, as well as shorting opportunities. At the end of the uptrend, there may be possibilities for short. So let's start with the first one, profit taking for the long positions. So an exhaustion gap can be a signal to consider taking some profits on your long positions, especially if you've been holding them for a significant gain during the uptrend. Here's what to look for. Number one, overall uptrend maturity. What does that mean? If the uptrend has been in place for a long time and there have been multiple prior pullbacks, an exhaustion gap might be a sign of that the uptrend is nearing its end. And you should be on the lookout for other bearish signs. You're looking for confirmation from other technical indicators like declining moving averages, for example, or a bearish divergence between price and the RSI, or the price and the oscillators. Everything good? What's going on? Everything's tanking, says the Katina man. Where's my Amazon? Why am I break even on Amazon and everything's tanking? Let's go.
Go down, Amazon.
Get it, Dara. So yeah, I like that. Thank you. Thank you for bullying Amazon for me. Yeah, so basically you're looking for other bearish indicators. We talked about price action oscillator divergence, like MACD and RSI. If the price is making new highs, but the RSI or the MACD is making lower highs, that's a bearish divergence, and that could be also the signal of an impending end to the trend. And here we go, multiple pullbacks on this bad boy over here. You can see it's a prolonged uptrend. We're making higher highs, higher lows multiple times, but that trend line did get tested, and there were times where we made lower highs. And then came that double top, and then all the selling came. So, shorting opportunities. When you find an exhaustion or you see an exhaustion gap, can you get in short? Absolutely. So exhaustion gaps can offer potential entry points for short positions, betting on a trend reversal. However, cautious entry after confirmation is crucial here. Here's what to look for. First and foremost, you want to confirm that there is now a downtrend as opposed to an uptrend. So you're looking for a price to, for example, break below a key level of support, or continuation of the downtrend with a series of lower lows and lower highs. This is suggesting to you a stronger likelihood of a sustained downtrend. You're also looking for increased selling volume, so you got to have one eye on the volume as well. The exhaustion gap should be accompanied by a surge in selling pressure and volume, signifying a shift in the market sentiment. And last but not least, confirmation from other indicators is crucial here as well. Look for bearish signals from other technical indicators like declining moving averages like we just talked about, or falling momentum oscillators. So if we were in overbought territory above 70, are we now below in kind of that neutral zone between 60 and 30? If you're using MACD, did you get a crossover, a bearish crossover between the MACD line and the signal line, etc.? So there's so many different ways to do this. And don't forget, guys, I didn't put it on the slide here because I didn't have room, but stop placement is absolutely crucial. Remember to place stop loss orders to limit potential losses for short positions. In this case, you're placing them above the gap. So if the gap gets filled and you make a new high, you know your trade is inaccurate or it's not valid at that point, and you got to get you know what out of Dodge. And it looks like I'm printing up a storm here on Amazon. Please us dang punch about this. So we're going to see if we can weasel some more profits out of this. On AMZN. All right, what are we here? Like 20 pennies on the money? Is that going to cut it? No, it's not. So we're going to wait a little bit. All right, so sorry to interrupt there. Just had to check out on that. So we talked about the shorting opportunities, and here it is. We're big boy uptrending. A plethora of higher highs and higher lows. I mean, nary is there like a lower low here, and boom, all of a sudden, you get a big boy move up. You get one bullish gap, but then look what happens 3 or 4 candles subsequent. You get a monster gap down, and this is typically the starting phases of a downtrend, okay? But there is lots of false signals, sadly, with these exhaustion gaps, and that's why I've included an entire section on it, how to spot false signals. So exhaustion gaps can sometimes be misleading, as I just alluded to. The price might be taking a breather, for example, before resuming the uptrend. Here are some methods to help you identify potential false signals. So first and foremost, limited follow through. If the price struggles to maintain the downward momentum after the exhaustion gap and fails to make new lows, it could be a sign of a weak downtrend or a potential continuation of the previous uptrend. You're also looking for lower volume after the gap for potentially false signals here. A surge in selling volume typically accompanies a true bearish exhaustion gap. If the volume fizzles after the exhaustion gap, it might indicate a lack of conviction behind the selling pressure, and typically, you know, you should be on the lookout for that. And also, if your other indicators that you're using, like moving averages or oscillators, if they remain bullish, you need to be on the lookout. So look for conflicting signals from other technical indicators like moving averages or the RSI remaining in bullish territory. For moving averages, that means they're still pointing up. If you're using a crossover like the 50 and the 200, you still haven't gotten the cross. If you're using RSI and MACD, you might be seeing bullish divergence, or you might be in coming out of oversold territory, for example. So you need to look at those to see, are they looking in the same direction as what you're thinking, or are they giving you conflicting signals? If they are giving you conflicting signals and they're not all pointing, or not all, but most pointing in the same direction, you might be on the precipice of a false signal. So be careful with that. And last but not least, a little bonus tip: combine exhaustion gaps with other reversal patterns like a head and shoulders, a double top, a triple top, to strengthen the bearish signal and improve your confidence and in a potential trend reversal. Adara.
Sharif.
What's going on over there?
Things are happening.
Bang.
I don't know what they are, if they're good or bad, but okay, I want to talk about Tesla. There's a range on Tesla. It is being so deeply bamboozling. Like, I had 2 good trades on this, 2 L's on this. My issue is the L's outweighed the dubs, and I think that's the biggest issue too, is I find, why are we more willing as a people, generalism, but just as traders, you're more willing to panic sell than you are to like stay with the move when it's working. Like, right? So what I'm trying to say is, when something's going for you, you want to get out the second you're in the money, but like, Tesla, okay, I don't know how, I'm just going to explain what I did here because I feel like my analogy isn't working. But basically, TSLA, I was like, oh, if I take this short here at 60s or 70s, I think I took 69s, I could theoretically get to near 217s because that's what Tesla was giving you. Hello?
I didn't want to interrupt you. I was going to say
That was a perfect point. As you said, you don't know why in human nature why we do those kind of decisions. That's exactly why 95% of traders lose. It's because we hold on to sometimes our winners and we can't take enough money. We hold on to our losers and we can't make enough on our winners, right? And so I think that you just absolutely nailed that, Adara, and I'm glad that you brought that up to the viewers.
I appreciate that.
Back to Adara.
Thank you, Mr. Roaring Katina himself. Thank you so much, Sean, though, seriously. And one thing I've noticed is last week was way better for me. And it's not because the winning days were great, though, you know, we did have some okay winners. The issue was because I was minimizing my losses. That was the thing. And this week, that has not been the case. But it's like if I'm seeing stuff here with Tesla, and I can't, like, Tesla's going to be Tesla. I can't act like this is a stock that moves sanely. So I keep panic selling out of these shorts. The short, or I guess panic buying, the shorts would have worked out had I been patient for like 0.2 seconds, right? So I think sometimes to Sean's point, and just to kind of go back on this, I think it's something I'm trying to figure out. How do you minimize these L's and maximize the W's? Because that's certainly been my issue this week, especially. TSLA is, to finish my point, in a bizarre range here from about 217.20, sometimes a little bit lower, all the way up into 218s. But the more consistent aspect of this range has been about 217.30 to about 218s. Now, we'll wick up into 218.20, but we will not stay there with any vigor, any joie de vivre. So why are my two losing trades be getting out here at 20s? It's panic. It's psychology. It's the mental. I need to work on that. I've really been trying, like I said, to beef up the mental game here. I am, you know, trying to focus less on P&L and more on this progress and the learning. Hopefully that'll come soon. And, you know, I don't want to say hopium, but I think if you work at something, you do want to see results. I tried to get an AMD short here as well because look at all these. Chefs, I have no words about this AMD chart. Shout out to Sean's trade on this earlier. Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. We get to the 90 MA. We do some chop. We do some churn. I waited because I thought at one point we would maybe curl up here on the 90 MA because stock style and AMD are looking very similarly. And then we had that rejection. I tried to get involved at 149.10s. It was a bit optimistic. I think we got involved. We got to like 149. 07s, and then sold off. I should have been, I don't want to be chasey, but I should have gotten like 149s. It's all good, baby, though. Not been a dream yet today, though. We have had some good trades, but I am excited that the stock I feel I have the best read on right now is this Tesla range. So I'm going to keep trying to play that to the best of my abilities, perhaps with less size, and definitely being more patient and working on better entries with that big old cyber beast. That's what I'm trying to do here. Yeah. Lead with your smarts and not with your heart, says Round and Find Out. Also, thank you, Round and Find Out, for the $1.99 super chat saying there is no messages. Oh, I don't know if I know what that means, but thank you very much to Round and Find Out, and hopefully we'll find out what the market has to do next. AMD making a bit of a bottoming tail candle, question mark. I want to see what we do at 149.20s before I do anything else. I've been involved in one name. It is the cyber monster, and we're going to keep going for new things. But I see that you got express delivery there on your Amazon shorts.
Do you know that I get same-day delivery at my place and I didn't even know it? And I was
because you kept saying you didn't have it.
Yeah, so I ordered something yesterday. Yeah, Ram, you were right. You were right, Ram, as usual. You're always right. She's pumped about that. Yeah, now Katina, man, this is stuff that you've known for a while. I'm just getting involved here. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. You understand the dynamics, Katina, man. This is what I'm trying to get at here. So I took this short on AMZN. And I covered at 183, but I'm watching it still, and there seems to be a buyer at 183. So to my right, not too far, about 2.5 meters, is the Amazonian. And I know that he's probably, you know, looking up a storm at it right now, so maybe we'll ask him exactly what the deal is with Amazon. But all I see here is a hold up at 183, initially the IB low. Shout out to Dan the Man Emmons, okay? And then we came back into 183 around 10:50, around 10 to 11. And we popped up into that $0.50, which caused me to short because I was like, I'm looking for a short the pops kind of day. But we are now back at said 183 for the third dang time on this 180, on this AMZN. So here's what I'm doing. I'm watching, and if we break and hold above this $0.50, I'll mean revert this thing possibly back into the 20, VWAP, the whole dollar, whatever it is. But it keeps holding up at 183, and it got up right there into 183 and a fifth again. So I'm all eyes on Amazon at this level. I want to see exactly if we can eke out possibly a long or a short. If it comes back into the $0.50 and stalls out again, I don't care about this stock. I'll take it short, no problem. I need same hour delivery, says Ram. Damn, girl. You need to calm down with your Uber uses there. Maybe the Uber can get you the same day delivery or 1 hour delivery. Ramram, you're so quick with the Ubers these days. So yeah, keeping an eye on that. 183.40 is where the closing prints rejected off most of the time, but you can see the wicks did make it up into the 50-cent area. So I'm watching. Obviously, goes without saying, I'm keeping an eye on the Mag 7, but there are other types of names that I'm looking at. If you watch this show, you know that I like small caps, small cap gappers, and let's look at them. Not a lot of them are really hanging out in tradable territory right now, sadly. NUZE, look at this monster, 170% in the clear. Sadly, it's below the volume weighted average price. It's trying to hold up over here at this 2 3/4, an area that we had pre-market resistance at. We'll see if it holds this area. If it does, fantastic, but I'm not taking it as a breakout trade. It'll have to be a range trade of sorts. It does seem to be finding support, though, at generally this 2 3/4, so we'll keep an eye on that. NUZE. DRMA drama up 112% today. But look at this, zigging and zagging in the pre, doing everything in the pre. Then comes the actual market hours, and it does diddly squat. So this one not doing that well. It does seem to find a bit of a buy, or a bid, excuse me, at $2.50, DRMA. I'm not going to bother giving you a lot of the details on these names until I start trading them, because right now they're sub VWAP. Same thing with BBLG, 48.8% in the clear. Looks good on paper. Then you open up the chart, poop. Look at this, 184, well below VWAP, volume dropping off a cliff, a topping tail candle, everything that you don't want to see in a small cap gapper, it's showing you. PIRS, this one a little bit better. Kind of a weird one, just showed up on my chart not that long ago. I know it gapped up in the pre, but it wasn't doing all that much volume. This one is interesting, 18.3 million market cap, about 4.5 million shares today. And very small float, 1.2 million share float. Let's bring in trade ideas and find out what the short float is on this. That's not trade ideas, that's the ad read. All right, let's find out PIRS. So 1.5% float, short float there, not really much to write home about. It's also below VWAP, but it's hanging out a little bit better. CGBS as well, Christmas tree retracement, not a whole lot to talk about sadly today in small cap gap world, guys. Now let's look at the Mag 7. I'm essentially, I'll tell you the truth, I'm looking at shorting any pop into the 10 and the 20 on these names. I'm not going to have resting orders there. I'm going to wait for confirmation, but I am very much looking short on the data.
Yeah, I will say, I know I say this a lot, but I think sometimes you do have to shout yourself out and be positive. I'm proud of myself for what I did with the Tesla short, though it was not profitable. I got involved, I think, at 94s, 217.94s, got out to 18, like 08, so 14 penny loser. Basically, I realized I was like, Adara, this thing is being distinctly different. Shout out to Obi there. The tape was getting very different. I was like, we're popping for a move up. You do not want, you want 0% of that smoke. So I left. Then it popped up 50 cents. I was like, okay, Adara, you can read. Please do more of that. Sincerely, Adara. But also one thing I've tried to do more, like I said, a lot of journaling and a lot more focus on my prep for words here for my trades and for my trading day. And one thing I've done as well is just like little quotes to myself. If I know music motivates me, you got to have some of those music quotes in there. So there we go. I'm just really trying to work on some of, you know, the mental strategies. Tesla, are you really back in this range? Was that really just a quick deviation from the range? If we hold on to 217.50s here, I'm going to take this long again, but I just need Tesla to like make up its mind. Please, thanks. I think it has. I just think I keep wanting it, not even wanting it to change it, just keep entering it incorrectly. But this AMD, I said I would be interested in a long if we got above the 90 MA or a short if we stayed below the 90 MA. AMD decisively higher lows here. I like AMD 149 in either direction. I would like it to prove to me what direction it would like to be in. Yeah, AMD, I am talking to you, and okay, do you hear me?
You tell it, Adara.
I think it is a long here, and you might be like, Adara, what do you see that makes AMD a long? Soxel is at low of days. Higher low, higher low, higher low. Now, granted, do we have some resistance at 149.40? Oh, for sure. But I scalp. I can take part out of 40s, then wait, then add back in, right? So that's something I would be comfortable with. Right now, though, we're decisively below 149 on the buy side, so I don't love that. As I say it, AMD's like, what are you talking about? And pushes higher. A little too waffly for me right now, but AMD is something I definitely have eyes on. Tesla trying to break below its range, so I guess do your thing, Cybertruck. Apple, your occasional pal here, Apple is kind of interesting to me here as well, but I find I do not trade Apple necessarily in a great way. What I find interesting about Apple here, though, is we have that downtrend, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, la 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 la. Then we get here to 218.50. We wick up here into 218.85s, which was a previous area of support, and then we come right back down. I think this can go either way. I find wicks like this, when we're already in a trend, then we kind of have a wick that's just a continuation. I find they can resolve either way. I'm actually kind of interested in a long on Apple here, which I know sounds insane. But if you hear me out, we are finding a nice little support here at 218.50. I've noticed this wick tends to give you, more often than not, it tends to be a little bit of a reversal wick. So, I'm not Jerome Powell, nor am I Obi, but I'm going to try to be the reversion man here and take this Apple long. That's what I really want here. And I don't know if I'm going to get it. I said 52s. We're seeing higher lows here in Apple. I'm willing to be a skosh chasey with it. Let's try to get, well, I'll do 59s. I'll do 59s. And, so let's see. Well, okay.
I can take over.
No, it's okay. No, I'm just trying to get Apple to do what I wanted to do. Yeah, we'll wait and see here. Let's see if we can take a bite into this Apple. Now it actually looks like it's trilling back lower, so good thing I didn't get filled. But AAPL, I do have eyes on you. I have eyes on AMD as well. Tesla doing its range again. So
it's right back, like right in that range that you were talking about.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Shout out to you. I like that.
I need to trade it better, but it exists.
I want to talk about Enphase because I don't think we talked about this on the morning show. But Enphase reported. And Reliable Rudy, who used to be a person in the chat, was one of this stock's biggest fans. I haven't seen him in a hot minute, but then, a lot of traders take the summer off. And to be completely honest, that's not such a bad idea. Anyway, multiple upgrades today for Enphase. And if you're looking for something long on these here dang markets, it's one of these. It's Enphase up 12.75% on the back of much better than expected earnings. I haven't had an opportunity to read them, so I'm not going to go into them now. But here I'm watching it. I was looking for 20 exponential retracement. It came and it went, and now it's right up above, looking to go through 17 again. This one awfully strong. Every successive dip has been bought up with newer highs and higher lows on every successive little retracement, making a new crest and a higher trough. So Enphase in play. Let me have a look at generally here, solar. Mixed bag in the world of solar stocks. Over here you can see some green like Solar Edge. Enphase, obviously a big boy for solar, has that nearshoring tailwind. TAN is the ETF, but you have like Canadian solar obviously getting smacked in the face. Nova, and Sun Power as well, marginally green. Well, not marginally, it's up 12 and change. You got SOL, Paula, and a bunch of others that are kind of in mixed territory there. So some good looks for solar. If you're looking for something positive here to the high side, it could be solar. And now with Vice President Kamala Harris in the race, and it depends on what polling you look at. Mixed polls, but some polls have her neck and neck with Donald Trump, some ahead, some below. In any event, that's not why I'm telling you all this. The point is to say that the solar trade might be back on the table because, generally speaking, green energy initiatives are not really, the Republicans' bread and butter, mostly espoused by Democrats. So that's the nature of that trade. So we'll keep an eye on solar now that dynamic has taken place. So keeping an eye on Enphase today. Having trouble with 17 right now, though. Technically, the high of the day is 1732. But when you look over here, we definitely had issues we have ongoing issues with 17. We're not really able to break it and hold on a permanent basis. So I want to watch here a break and hold above 17. But if I had to guess, or not guess, but if I had to make an educated assessment here about the trend, it's higher highs and higher lows. So it's a fantastic look for now. So keeping an eye on that. Yes, I do see you, Zebev. SERV, I did see that one. It's not up bigly yet, but it's up nice right now, breaking through the pre-market yesterday's resistance level. SERV, you can see this one had all sorts of trouble yesterday, breaking through 950. Let me put this on my side chart over here because it's not updating for whatever reason. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man's long Alibaba, new position. He hasn't been this all day. make sure you're getting on over to More Trader TV, link in the description to see what Obi and Sean are trading, and usually Neil when Adara and I are dropping hot lines on how to trade midday show. Anyway, SERV, there we go, breaches through 9.5, on the way, goes to 10 and a fifth, having trouble holding 10 though. Now what I want to see, who is the person that shed, Zebev, what I want to see is possibly this come and test 950 or that general area of 950, that area of previous resistance, and hold it. That will be really interesting here if it does that. If it does, that's awfully bullish, and I'm definitely going long on that. Shout out to you. Thank you for pointing that out. Enphase still in play. I'm watching Enphase. Is it above 17? Oh, baby. There it goes. 17 and a third now. 17 and a quarter showing up on the bid. It's a bit spready, though. About 10 cents right now, Dare.
Yeah, Tesla broke out of its range. Unfortunately, broke out of its range while I was in it. Did take some profit on this, added to the position. We had higher lows. I should have been more cognizant of that. I was like 2 cents away from getting my fill that it broke up. I was like, Adara, stay calm. We're still below 30s. Then Tesla was like, oh, yeah, you want to bet? And like popped way up. I was like, okay. So got out, did not get out unscathed, like a little bit bruised out of my Cybertruck, but definitely ready to make some better choices. And if you have any stocks you're looking at right now, get involved in, oh, thank you, in that chat, exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever tickers your fancy. What was that? Maybe Microsoft, maybe it's Amazon, maybe it's AMD, maybe it's IWIM. Kind of looking at side charts here. Whatever you want to look at, get involved in that chat because we want to know here what you guys are looking at so that we can break it down for you. This Tesla, yeah, I mean, what could I say? I should have scalped everything out. Adara, why are you taking pieces for dreams in Tesla? Tesla is known for nightmares. Chill Vibe saying, I'm long QQQs. So let's take a look at the QQQs here. Down about 2.5% right now on the day. So a bit of a hit for these markets. Oh, I see you. I see you, Chill Vibes. This is a massive, to me, pretty bullish look here, and clearly to you as well. That 467.50 area, what a double bottom here in the 5 minute. We're trying to push higher. I don't even mind this look because I need to keep an eye on this. Thank you so much to Chill Vibes for pointing this out. Also, you know, I was like, oh, Apple looks kind of sneakily bullish here. It did, in fact, look sneakily bullish here. I was not able to get involved, but I am looking for some more opportunities here. That is for darn sure. I'm going to have to leave my Cybertruck alone right now. Somehow that is the only name I've traded on the day. And I want to clarify. I am really happy I tried with it because I had ideas I liked. You owe it to yourself that, I think, to some extent. I traded it the way I was comfortable trading it, but I should have, you know, you want to learn, you want to grow. And I think that, you know, obviously it doesn't feel great having red days, but you have to go look for your trades and find them. And I'd rather take trades I'm interested in than take, you know, than not go for it. Also, LA, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Lucky day. Bought $40, $225.50 Apple puts at a 138, out at 470. Shout out to you, LA. I'm sure you you can fly to LA there and party. So shout out to you on that. Right now, I'm looking for some more trades that I feel I have strong conviction about. And I will take.
I love that.
On the balance of the evidence so we don't get rinsed again over here. How are you doing?
I just took 50 pennies quickly on the Cybertruck there, up into 219,
nice.
Covered 218 and a half. It's flying though, Adara, so that was a quick scalp. Right up through the volume weighted average price, like it doesn't even matter. Well, breached it quickly. Let's see if it can breach it. Well, close above it is what I mean to say. The volume weighted average price on my chart is at 219 and a fifth. We're at that right now. You can see that. Here we go, zigging and zagging. Now we're at a third. Now we're at a quarter. Now we're below that. So all sorts of zigging and zagging right now on the Cybertruck. I'm going to have to let this resolve because I'm just not good enough to be able to trade at these levels and at this pace. And the fly is back.
Oh my God.
My God, that fly is back. I think it's like inviting its family
fly.
or something like that. My goodness. Yeah, anyway, right now, keeping an eye on Tesla at the volume weighted average price. Look at that. It just dropped below 219, right back above 219 at that $0.25 level. So I've got nothing right now on TSLA. It's just moving too aggressively here for me to be able to discern any sort of trend. I'd like the volume weighted average price as a possible level of resistance. I also like that 220 area, seeing that it is the $10 level. But when you look at the actual price action trading on our way down into 220, on our way down possibly to multiple levels, there wasn't a holdup. There really was nothing. I mean, the only area where there was a 5 minute chart, 5 minute candle that held us up below, you know, for a little bit before we made another low. Was this candle over here at 935 that's held at 222. So to me, nothing really on the way down. Now there's plenty of stuff here on the way up in the consolidation phase at this level that Adara was talking about. I think she was bang on with that 219, 218 and a half, generally that area. But as you can see now, I mean, VWAP is getting breached. This 5-minute candle though still hasn't closed. Right, so we have to keep an eye to see, is this just going to be a false breakout? There we go. I mean, it closed. Now do we pamp right back up and breach that $10 level at 220? So all sorts of interesting stuff here happening right now on Tesla. But I got to tell you, this could be a specialist breakout, getting us above VWAP to trap all the longs and then push us right back down into that range. And we'll see. I'm not going to jump into the Cybertruck quickly at all here. I need to see exactly what transpires. Now, going back to the other trade that I had on the day, AMZN, look at it. It's literally at the same area that I got at 183.06. I know it zigged and zagged. I know it dropped a little bit in the 182.70s and popped back up into the 183.30s, but this is definitely a range happening over here. There's really no more bleeding at the moment on AMZN, much in the way that we were anticipating there would be. So keeping an eye on that. Meta, you know, it's been a love affair with the 10 or the 20 exponential. Take your pick. Right. Yesterday, I was nicely green on the day, and Meta turned me red. So I'm still got a bitter taste in my mouth from this one. So I'm going to leave this one alone because the spreader is a dangerous animal sometimes, and either rinse or you get rinsed on it. So MSFT as well, down and to the right. Really, Google's the only one. Google and Tesla, excuse me. Really the one over here holding areas of technical support. I like this level on Google at 173.50, 173.40. We held up there in the pre at around 845, and we did it again right now at 1125. This area over here on goggles, just to show you exactly what I mean, this one over here holding up.
Wow.
So interesting. We'll have to wait and see if that continues, but it's a bit of a tougher day on these markets. The loaf man, D-Loaf. 215 bounce was perfect for bull flag on daily. Started buying back shares slowly, sub 217. What's your boy Alfred saying? Look, I mean, you know how Alfred is, right? When the stocks go down, he celebrates. When they go up, he complains, right? I mean, he is so long-term in his thinking that that's just exactly how it is. So if I message him right now, I'll be like, I want Tesla to go down. I want a 150. And, you know, he won't be happy when it goes up. Anyway, we were out on the weekend together on Saturday, and, you know, nothing's changed. He still wants things to go down. He's still long-term conviction. That's just kind of how he is, right? So that's a look. What are you up to over there?
Yeah, AMD is doing things here, and I want to explain what I mean by that. AMD is requiring a level of patience I don't normally have, but I have conviction in this trade, and so that's why I'm sticking with it. Now, I've been talking about AMD as a short and as a long. I said if AMD breaks above 149.30 and it holds it, I'm going long. I got long 149.27s. Since I've been involved and I've been watching the book pretty heavily, we have not broken below that I have seen 149.20. That's a good look. The plan for this is to add and subtract. I'm getting out 2/3 at 149.54s. If it'll have me, AMD, if you'll have me, I'll get out there. But I want to add because we're making higher lows. And honestly, for me, the biggest test of patience was seeing us get above that 149.35 because AMD did not want to hang there. We'd get to 34, sell off to 30s. 34, sell off to 30s. 35, sell off to 31s. I was like, okay, AMD, chill, breathe, baby girl, breathe. But I added to the position here as well because we did have some support at the time at that 149.31, and I did want to have a little bit more of a position. I didn't mind averaging up a couple cents. AMD right now, what you're doing is making what looks like not one but two topping tail candles. Obviously not a look I like, and you know what? I'm actually going to move down my first point of entry here because I do not like how stubborn we're being. I'm going to get out. What is this? This is now going to be 40% of the position because I added to the position at 44s. I'm totally okay with that. I'm comfortable with continuing to add and subtract in this AMD. I will sit with you all day long, AMD. All day long, all day.
Get it,
All
Adara.
day long, all day. Anyways, the point I'm going to make is when you have conviction, when you're confident in a trade, okay, thank you, AMD. I think that matters, and I know this is not my usual type of trade, but I'm scalping in and out of it, so I do feel comfortable sitting in this for a bit longer. If I keep seeing higher highs, higher lows on AMD, I will continue to add to this position. And right now, you know what? We're going to take another piece here at 36s. and not out. We're going to add a piece at 36 if it comes back. We're going to add a slightly larger-ish piece at 36s. This is the type of trading I need to do. Now, mind you, I'm happy with how I called the Tesla range. I think I was right on the range. I played the range deeply incorrectly. Adara, you don't have to be like right on everything, right? You don't have to be like an Einstein. Get into a different trade. It's fine there. But we do have this AMD. We're going to be getting out some more AMD if we get to 49s. We're going to take out a third of this larger position. Tesla, though, speaking of my old nemesis here, Cybertruck, the level I wrote down here was 220, and I want to show the 3-minute chart. I believe it was the 3-minute to show what I'm talking about. Yeah, so this 220, this should be like a whole dollar level. 220, we really did have a little bit of a skirt width. We kind of brushed up in, where was this? What did I see? Oh yeah, here we are, 220. We break down at 220, we pop up, then we sell back off. Then we kind of try to waffle back into 220s, and Tesla's like, no, thank you. So if Tesla wants to make a big old topping tail candle at 220, I gotta say, Sharif, I'm interested. But I'm more interested in the bounce after the fact. What? The notably bearish Adara is interested. Abera is interested in this VWAP bounce. Yes, I am, because look at this candle we had here. Chip, 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 chip. Then we get down. This is a heck of a bottoming tail candle. We bounce off 219s. I'm watching to see what Tesla does at 219s. AMD, I do not love the extent to which you broke out of your little range, so I'm going to keep an eye on you. We're still, like I said, we're above 20s. That's really what I'm watching for. But if I see lower highs in the book, that's not going to be a vibe for me. I'm basically flat in the position, a couple pennies out of the money, but I'm not adding right now here. I really need to see AMD stop with this bottoming, topping tail candle nonsense. If it stays above the 9 EMA, if it stays above 149.20s, I will generally continue to have conviction in the position. I think AMD is trying to shake some people out right now because it does look, we have higher highs, we have higher lows. Both in my micro analysis and the larger analysis of the chart, it looks like it is trying to break a skosh higher topping tail candles aside. How are you looking? How are you
Good.
doing?
I was able to take a mixed trade on Amazon, part profitable, part stopped out for the rest. I do like this. I'm in a short right now on the TQQQ. Shout out to the Katina man who's been trading up a storm on the TQQQs as of late. And it's apparently the number one named or number one traded name on said show. So that's how bigly the triple Qs have been in play on that side of the desk as of late. So we're in it right now. And I did like that 10 exponential retracement on it. So I'm wetting my beak here for a little profit. Let's see if we can weasel our way down a little bit more over here, because we did pop into 19.4 on the NQ September contract. And then we did meet a wall of selling at the 10 exponential on the 5. Already wet my beak. This one, if it breaks 60, I'm going to get out of this one looking for it. 67.60 is what I mean by that. And here it is. There's a seller at 60, so we'll get out there and we'll look to reinstitute if it does reject the 10 exponential. Again, it's right back at 19.4, a bit of a top bottoming tail hammer candle at the moment right now on the NQ September contract on the 5-minute chart. So keeping an eye on that, still well below the 10 exponential though. So keep eyes on these bad boys over here. The trade that I had on Amazon was decent. It wasn't bad. I tried to take that basically area low, long for a mean reversion back up into the top, but this made a newer low. So now the newer low on AMZN is 182.31. I believe it was around the $0.50 earlier. So it did actually was higher than the $0.50. It was around 3/4 or so, in and around there. So keeping an eye on both these names at the moment. But there's all sorts of weakness over here. And I should mention that Tesla was, where the hell is my Tesla screen? There it is. Yeah, so this got up into 220, and there was a wall of selling at 220. There was big boy lottage. It got broken through. It popped up, specialist breakout, and then right back down again into 218s and change. And so this one looks like it's going to be a false break for the moment. Who knows, right? For the moment, it looks like it's going to be a false breakout of the volume weighted average price. But if it does end up that way, can we really all be all that surprised? The thing's down 11 and 11.5% at the moment. It's SSR, so that's just the way it is. And so I'm keeping my eye on TSLA. If it takes 220 though, on a closing basis, that is an awfully good look long. It looks like the future is still headed back down now, so it's still a little bit above my entry at the moment. End phase though, I just yelled over to the Katina man. I'm like, dude, do you know where end phase is? 2.5 is absolutely flawed.
Sorry, I needed that.
I know. It's just, it's really intense. I love
apologize.
it. I love your intensity. There's no question about that. But sometimes, you know, there's physical manifestations for that intensity. They're kind of funny, right?
No, you're allowed to laugh. I just feel badly for throwing you off.
No, it's all good. You don't have to worry about that. Adara was fist pumping a storm. You didn't see it because Ram Ram didn't catch her, but I'm sure Ram Ram will do better next time. Right, Ram Ram? All right. Big Spile Burdette, $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Big Spile. The truth hurts. I let the earnings potential get me off my game and miss the swing short on SPY. Ignore the noise and trust your charting and studying. Sad morning for Big Kyle. Don't say that. Don't say that. Just say it's a lesson learned. And now when, you get that feeling again and you have that confidence, the OB confidence, what's the one for Adara?
Confidera. Darwin in the chat gave me that one.
Shout out to the OG, 2 pimps. Shout out to Big Spile, man. Look, don't let it get you down, Big Kyle. I saw what you sent me today, and I think, your studying and your charting is obviously well above average, and stick to your guns and stick to your gut, buddy. And I'm sure you're going to print up a storm. There's going to be many, many, many more days. And Big Spile, why do you always got to go short, bro? You have the ability to go both ways. Your charting works both ways. So take it up when we go up. Take the market up too. Keeping an eye on NVIDIA here, guys, because NVIDIA is absolutely hugging the 10 exponential on the 5 Ram. And this one is really continuing to go down quite aggressively here. So we're going to keep eyes on NVIDIA there.
Yeah, I want to talk about Tesla because I took 35 pennies on it. And I saw someone in the chat asking, the markets are down, the chips are down. Why are you trying to go long? My thing is, if I see something I like, and I see it, for whatever reason, I want to be clear, AMD even, at the time I got long, wasn't an uptrend, right? It broke below, I got out, but I want to clarify. I don't really feel like this was a counter trend trade in AMD. And the second we broke out of that trend, we had that move below the 90 EMA I left, right? So I want to clarify that. But with Tesla, I was also seeing a bit of a move into the uptrend. Now, as Sharif said, this has been super bamboozling. I was saying earlier, I said if we bounce off VWAP, I want a Scotia smoke. Just a Scotia. I took less size with this too because I was like, Adara, your reads on things have not been the best today. Take enough of a position where you're going to have enough to sink your teeth into, but don't take anything massive. AMD, not by anyone else's standards, but my own, was a bit of a larger position. I felt really confident it didn't work out. I played it according to my plan, so can't complain. But this Tesla, anyway, I see we get to 219s and we bounce, and I watched us fall. So I watched us come here to the 90 MA, and I watched us bounce at 218.85. So I said, Adara, if you come back to 219 and you bounce, you were getting in that Cybertruck, you were slamming the door, and you were taking that ride to the upside within reason, risk management and whatnot. But then I get at 219.15s. We get to 219s, we get slightly below 219s. And the urge I have to panic sell is so strong, but I'm like, Adara, you have no reason to leave yet. We're calm. We're chilling like a villain. So we chill. Chillin', shout out to that Swizz Beatz song from 214, or go Coolin', that was the name of that song. But we were waiting here, and we were coolin', we were just chilling in our Cybertruck. Then we get the pop. We get the pop all the way to 219.60s. I got at 219.50s. I took 35 pennies on my Cybertruck. The point I'm trying to make here with this very long-winded story is that regardless of your past trades, as Opie says, where's the next trade? The past trades are in the past. What I'm looking at is what I'm looking at right in that moment. I think in both cases, in addition to what I saw in the book and what I saw in the chart, I had reason to think they were in uptrends. In the AMD, it worked out not as well, but I played it appropriately. In this Tesla, I still think we could potentially go higher, but I'll play it in either direction. It's what I'm seeing in the moment. I like the shorter term trades. I like the here, and I like the now. And you don't want to be unfazed by this year market. So I am teasing, I guess, someone straight to the right of me. But what else do I want to look at? Speaking of the person to the right of me, he trades a lot of Apple. And oh my gosh, yes, tell that stock who's boss, Sharif. Apple here, below the 90 MA. I think I'm going to tell Apple who's boss, Sharif. I'm going to take a nice chunk out of that Apple. I'm going to add if we get to 62s, and I'm going to get involved at 40s. How are you doing? I want to hear about that awesome fist pump that you just had
50
there.
pennies, as quick as punch on Enphase. 10. Thank you, Adara. I appreciate you and all your support. 10 exponential retracement on Enphase. I said, look, Sharif, this thing is really, really bullish today, and it hasn't touched the 10 since 9:45. It's retraced into the general 10 area, but an actual touch on the 10 exponential on the 5 hasn't happened. So I said front run it. You're going to have to front run it if you want the fill. I tried to get the fill, didn't trigger in the 40s. I had to chase it. I kept chasing it and kept chasing it. And I did the right thing in this particular instance because it did give me what I needed. Popped up right into 187.50. And I took actually more than 50 pennies on this one. So I'm happy with this trade. We're going to see if we can get something more on this. Maybe an even deeper retracement? I mean, are we due for a 20 exponential retracement on the 5? Because we haven't had one today. I just finished telling you guys we haven't touched a 10 exponential since 9:45 on the 5-minute chart. So I think we might be due for one here, but it doesn't matter what I think. It's got to manifest. And if we do break the 10 exponential on the 5, on a closing basis, I will be looking with a resting order on the 20, and I will likely want to front run it by a bit. So I'm happy with this trade. I want to get a little bit more on it. Watching now how this 5-minute candle that just opened up now, trades. Do we make a newer low or what the sitch is? So we're going to keep eyes on this. 13.57%. And it behooves me to tell you a little bit about Enphase. Now, if you don't know about Enphase, they're in the solar business. And they don't make solar panels. They don't make battery storage like Elon Musk and his boys there at Tesla. They make this transistor between the actual panel. I don't know if it's called a transistor, guys, so, don't come at me too hard there. It basically a chip between the actual panel itself and the storage device, the battery packs. And apparently it's proprietary and it's big and it's in demand, and that's why this thing is what it is. So let's have a look at Enphase. The short float has dropped significantly on this name. That's interesting. I'm willing to bet because people probably covered because this was beat down to no end. 10, essentially 10.5, 10.43 exactly is the percentage of the float that it's shorted. Trade ideas showing here a float of 131 million. Let me find out if if that jives here with my platform. What does my platform say? Yeah, 131. So good look there for both. Just allow me a minute over here. Yeah, so that's the look there. And so that Enphase still holding above the 10 exponential on the 5. Look at that. It's trying to hold 118. We're going to have to see how this candle closes. But yeah, awfully strong is Enphase at the moment. Now, let's look at what else is moving and doing things. So, yeah, Apple has been beat down to no end. Now it is touching the 10 exponential right here on the 5. So I want to see what the dead one does at these levels. Do we get finally a 10 exponential breach and give me a better entry here, maybe at the 20, or maybe at this 220 and a half, a quarter? There seemed to have been a consolidation area bottom here at pivot point resistance level 2. That is exactly at 220 and a third. So, I'm looking for a mean reversion trade on Apple before we take this bad boy back down. But also you have to look at TSLA because now it's above 220, above the volume weighted average price, making higher lows and higher highs. Tesla, what are you doing? Are you going to revert back? What's going on here, Cyber? Is it going to revert? The Katina Man gave me the nod. So there you go. Katina Man likes it. Adara's printing up a storm on Tesla. Get it, Adara.
Thank you. Took 30 pennies. I was like, basically what I saw was I was seeing this consolidation, this little chop, this churn. You see it on the chart, but you also saw it on the book. We'd get to 219.85s, we'd pop up. 219.90s were like beautiful. I was like, Adara, start a small position. But then I saw us get to 220s. And we were gorgeous at 220s. Got to 220s, got to 220.10s, back to 220s. Get a little bit below, come right back to 220s. We hold it beautifully. I say, Dara, you have to take this with more size. You feel confident in this. It's going to be pure scalp mode. Scalp. I was willing to take 20 cents. Then I ended up getting, I got 33 cents. So whatever, it is what it is. But basically, I was willing to go until I saw anything get kind of stagnant or weird in the book. Around 30s, we had a little bit of a pause. I got out. It was like, Dara, trust your read. Please leave this. But that's where I ended up leaving here. I'm willing to continue to scalp Tesla. This is the vibe. I tried the range on this earlier. I love these range trades. Tesla on a book range is maybe not the vibe. The trades I've had in Tesla that have been given me the most success have been the breakouts. So that's what I'm going to be trying to take here. Shout out to Jay Lee, 40 pennies long here in TSLL. So 40 pennies in the money to you, Jay Lee. That is great. I am so pleased as punch for you. Good look on this. AMD bottom says, I am Chris Hendricks. Oh. Yeah, first pushback of the day. And I got to say here, it's because AM has been, something I've been looking at all day. I got to say, I don't know if this is going to be long here, though, Chris Hendricks. To me, I thought the long was going to be that 149.20 area. We had higher highs and higher lows for quite some time. I was able to scalp out a little bit of profit of this. Happy with how I managed it. The second the trend broke, I broke out of this AMD. But why I say I don't know if this is a long yet is because look at the area. We did have this double bottom here, 148.40 40s, but look at this area that we had this chop and turn. We have this big old wick down here, bottoming tail candle into 148.60s. Now look how we have not one, but two topping tail candles, 148.60s. So I would be patient here with AMD because AMD has been king bamboozler of Bamboozlement Island. If we get decisively, I don't know why I said that. If we get decisively below 148.60 here, I'd actually be tempted to scalp a short. That's my take, though. Of course, not advice. Take my take with a grain of salt if you need, but that's just my view on this. Given how bamboozling this one has been, okay, AMD. And as I speak, AMD is basically kind of giving this short. I definitely missed. I think the best way of doing this was right off 60s. That being said, if we come up here and we bounce at a higher low, if we close at a higher low here beyond that 148.40s, this could be a long. That's just my take there on this chart. I think I'm looking for a short. Speaking of shorts, Apple. This is another case of Adara. Why are you giving yourself stops that are on price limits and not based on what you see in the book? Sincerely, Adara. Basically, I was like, oh, if we get to the 60s, I'll add to the position. It was like, no. I got involved once again at the area that was actually ending up being support. I got short at support, which is not, you don't want to get sub short. That's not the type of short you want. So I ended up having to get out. I should have gotten out the second I noticed that. But yeah, all good, baby. You want to keep finding new opportunities. What I actually should be eyeing is getting short at these topping tail candles on Apple, though I will agree with Sharif. I think there's something mean reversion-y in these here hills on AAPL because we are having this like beautiful samba, this slow dance with the 9 EMA. We're like taking a couple steps to the right, couple steps to the left, going for a dip, going for a twirl. This Apple is a little bit, I think, too bamboozling for my blood. I've been looking at AMD longer. If I had to pick one of them, I would, not that I have to pick, I don't have to take anything if I don't want to, but if I had to pick between AMD and Apple, I much prefer the look on AMD as of right now. So that's gonna be my look and on that. Guys, you know, I want to clarify as well, the energy is just coming from these here markets. Because sometimes, you know, it is all a little bit of caffeine. Actually, I've not had much of this coffee. No. But as Sean said, if you want to be passionate, you want to have that confidence, and I think the confidence comes from passion. And so that is why I'm out here. A little bit of coffee, but a lot of bit of passion. Also, my coffee cup matches my nails. Good times. But yeah, Tesla, you want me to keep long scalping you? Just let me know. How are you doing?
I like it. I'm liking the vibes today. I was really close to getting short on Meta here, guys, and yeah, feels from yesterday started coming in when I got absolutely rinsed on this rim. Yeah, we're putting in beautifully lower lows and lower highs off the 10 exponential on the 5. Like, look at this. What happened there? Was that a sound effect?
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. Rim, play it again. Rim. Oh, she lost it. Okay. I love that. That's going to be a good one. I got to get that too for when we make bad jokes. But yeah, anyway, and all the retracements over here, at least for the last 20 minutes or so since 11:30, have been rejecting off the 10 exponential on the 5. So I said, this is a nice little scalp. I was a little late to the party though. I'm still watching Tesla because we're at the 50 period on the 5 right now at that 221. Get it, Adara. 221. So this is looking like a gnarly rounded bottom and a nice recovery. Where could we find a top for this recovery if we continue heading up? It looks like that 224 area would be really interesting target. That's about $3 from here right now because that is a nice little consolidation area bottom that we put in the pre-market. At around 840 or 830 we held up there. So looking for Tesla, watching what it does here. Does it clear the 221 and 50 exponential on the 5? Let's see what it looks like on the 15. All right, let's see. All right, so it's coming into the 20 on the 15, and it did previously reject off the 20 there. That's the 9 a.m. and 9:15, so it has had some respect for the 20 on the day. It's not just a random area on the 15. That's at 221 and a half, 221 and 2/3. The yellow line on my chart there. We'll keep tabs on that. But yeah, Tesla doing different things here than some of these other Mag 7 names. I just want to see what it does. I feel like, you know, I could have had definitely off that VWAP. We didn't take it. We were doing something else. But I'm all eyes on Tesla now. Now look at what Google is doing. We were talking about Google being kind of like a little rangy and possibly holding up at that 173 and a third. That was a while ago because now we've got 5 uninterrupted red candles on the 5-minute chart right now, and we are looking to weasel down possibly into that 172 where pivot point resistance, or sorry, support level 1 is hanging out. That's where the IB low was. We definitely double bottomed off there, 930, 935. It looks like we are headed right back down there on Google. 5% now down on the day. Still faring a lot better than Tesla. Both reported earnings yesterday, and both, for whatever reason, disappointed the market for different reasons, obviously. So keeping an eye on both of these names. Let's have a look at the small cap gapper, see if anything's afoot with these ones. Oh, that's a nasty looking topping tail candle on Enphase. Not like it's a small cap gapper, but I only have umpteen amount of charts. Eek, topping tail candle through 19, almost and a half, 1943. That's not what you want to see. Inverse doji candle there, and let's see if this one makes a new low. If it's a new low, this will be an interesting area for a possible reversal. Have we done that prior? Yeah, look, so we've had a couple of these sort of topping tail candles, and we continue to trend up. So that's something that the name has done on the day. So let's not put too much weight in that.
Hi, Brenda.
Yeah, whatever. $19 right now, or thereabouts. We're at on thing. I don't really like trend.
I know. Oh, really? You don't? You don't? Yeah, I forgot you guys had a whole legal battle too.
Yeah, well, you know, talk about a frivolous lawsuit over here. I should be claiming damages. You know that I can seek costs for this, Ram?
Yeah, and also for damage of reputation.
Yeah. That's a different action. Meta is flushing here. Adara, what the hell is going on with Meta? All right, Meta is on the way down. It's the entire market's flushing Adara. It's not just Meta. AMD is getting creamed, it says the Katina man. So is NVIDIA down into 116.5. Wow, Goggles as well on the way down. Apple on the way down. Amazon on the way down. I already mentioned Meta. Microsoft just chilling. It's sleeping. Microsoft and Tesla are the only ones really right now that are not in a full state of tank on the Mag 7 Adair.
Yeah, basically, so I redact my fist pump. I had pumped my fist because I was in TSLA, and we popped above the 221s. I was trying to build a long above 221s. We get to 221.20s. I'm like, oh, yay, exciting, woo. I wanted 221.40s. Why did I want 221.40s? Look at this chop and turn area. So I was like willing to wait a little bit for it. It did not give me my but I'm really proud of myself because I ended up getting out, and I know I say that a lot, but I think sometimes you do have to celebrate when you do well. Like, and to be clear, I'm very hard on my trading as well. But you know, you want to have that positive energy. You want to have good vibes, Katina. But so that's why you got it. Sometimes you got to pat yourself in the back. But I pat myself in the back because those 70s were an area of support. I said if we get anything weird here around 70s on TSLA, get out of Dodge Adara, get out of that Cybertruck. We got to 76s. I said, you'll regret it if you don't sell here. I got out at 76s. Now I'm looking at Tesla as a short. We're seeing lower highs in the book. It's a little bit rangier for my blood right now. But again, like I said, Tesla is not really a range I want to play. It's not a Range Rover, it's a Tesla. Why am I trying to play a range on it? Weird pun. But let's see what we do here. Other looks I'm looking at. I know I've AMD on my side chart. I have no point of entry in that right now. Tesla pushing higher, so I'm going to let it do its thing, 21. Honestly, I don't feel guilty about selling. I didn't feel comfortable in the trade, so I had to get out. If we bounce off 220s, like, oh, now it's coming to my area. Okay, Tesla, I see you. It's all good. No FOMO. FOMO, no. No, I don't know. But SOX L here, I was actually looking at. And why was I looking at SOX L?
I got rinsed on that.
Pardon?
I got rinsed on that Tesla short. I just tried there with the Katina man. Rinsed Adara.
Yeah, that was... Tesla's been bamboozlement king. But yeah, this SOX L, look at these lower highs here on the 9 EMA. That's what I'm looking for. If we come back again, we pop up. I want that smoke. That being said, I think we might have broken that area. We had this slight little double bottom here at that 45.30s. Then we retested it and sold off lower. So now I'm going to be eyeing 45.30s, general lower highs, lower lows. If I can't get my 9 EMA, I'm looking for something. I like your short on Tesla as well. That topping tail candle has been gnarly. So hopefully that Cybertruck will get you a Cyberbuck into the Cyberbuck club. Also, as I'm on the AMs, let's take a look, or on the Amex here, let's take a look at some of these other ETFs I like to look at. The SPY, lower lows here, lower highs, but kind of a weird look on the lows. We had a nice higher low here. Lower high, yes. Shout out to Sharif. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I hear you wrong. Okay, yes. I want to shout out Sharif. But now we're looking like we're making another lower high with a bit of a topping tail candle. I like, much like SOX L, we wick into previous support, then we come back down. So I want to keep an eye on this at this 554.60 area. So I'm looking at SPY right now as well, but also the EWIM. I want to shout out, I think it was Mahmood earlier in the chat saying, was IWM a short? I think IWM's in a bit of a range. That's my take on IWM. But it is, kind of a weird uptrend too. We had these lower highs, higher lows. Now we've made a higher high and a higher low. So IWM, please make up your mind. Sincerely, Adara. I want to see what we do 222s. That's been a bit of an area of wick interest. I don't have a clear read on it though, so I'm going to stay out of everything as of right now. I did get a little bit more rinse than I would have necessarily. That is not the right button, but also please vote. Get involved in that chat, exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you're interested in. Maybe it's Tesla, maybe it's IWM, maybe it's Google, maybe it's Microsoft, whatever it is that you want to be involved in, put that ticker in that chat to get your voice heard. I've been, like I said, a little bit more rinse than I would have liked today. It's not been a good week, but that means you just got to keep working harder, keep pushing and finding ways to make things work. I love your flipping it, reverse it stuff here in Tesla. Would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, let's do that. We put the trade on. We gotta basically talk about it. All right, so rinsed twice on the short and showing you its propensity to go. So I'm not taking it out here. I'm gonna have to give it room because it's zigging and zagging, and that's just the nature of this name on the day. I possibly like a retracement back into around 224 possibly over here if we really continue to head up and without like really a major level of resistance, at least intraday price action wise right now on Tesla. Let's flip to the 15 because we said that we had resistance on the 20 at the 15. We're a little bit above it right now, but you know, generally the 20 period on the 15 is around 55s. So we'll see if we can get that continuity on Tesla. I'm gonna put my out lower down over here. So we're gonna put that there, 221, and we're gonna put it like that. So then we have really nothing to, actually do mechanically. It's all gonna be done for us. Oh, wow. It's coming down. This is really a tough trade today on Tesla. I mean, I'm not gonna DCA into this because that's just not like my methodology to do this, but if it breaks $0.25, that I'm out. So yeah, it looks like it's gonna head down. This is a tough trade today on Tesla, man. You cannot catch this properly. I got stopped out for the third time on this Tesla trade. So I got nothing on it. I gotta draw a line somewhere right now on Tesla. I was quite positive. Now we're negative on the day as a result of Tesla. So gotta recompose over here, get everything under control, and then look at the next trade. Now, what I see is the future is in an absolute state of like flush. So why zig and zag with Tesla when we're seeing a good little trend right now on the future and on many other names as well? You're seeing it on Apple. You're seeing it on Softy. Yeah, Softy just rejected the 10 exponential. You're seeing it on everything really except Tesla. So I don't need to fight Tesla and try to guess which direction it's going. So I'm definitely going to be looking interested. I'm interested in something to the 10 exponential, possibly on these Mag 7 names. NVIDIA putting in a bit of a bottoming tail candle right now at 116. I'm unlikely to want to go long anything at these levels. I'm definitely going to have to look short, but it's going to have to come into my areas, right? So for example, on Apple, I'm not just going to get short here. I'd like to get short possibly around 218 and a fifth, 218.10, right around that 10 exponential. Same thing with kind of Meta. I'd like to see something around the 10 exponential up here at around 486.5. I like this level a lot on Meta, actually a lot better than the one that I like on Apple, just because of this double bottom, and then we have it giving way here. So definitely interested in a retracement to 468.5, generally 468 and a third on Meta. I like that level. I think that I can probably manage that a little bit if I have a resting order. What's up, Katina, man? Yeah, I know, it's an animal. The Katina man short Tesla 221.60, so he's $1 in the money there. He was fighting it like me. I mean, it's a tougher trade. Get it, Katina man. We know your reputation with Tesla, so you get at it, baby. He's $2 in the money right now on TQs. On the TQs. Shout out to Katina man, printing up a storm on the TQs as they just printed low a day right now. So here it is on Meta. I'm looking to go short here on the Zuck train at around 468 and a third, 468 and a half a dare.
Ramin was laughing. To be fair, I kind of brought the choo-choo for her because yesterday you said, oh, I lost my chain of thought, and Ramin went choo-choo. So yeah, shout out to Ramin and Fabian killing it every single day. Apple, I was like, I'd fancy a long, I don't know, I'm British, around that 217.50. And then Apple's like, oh, cool, you want 217.50? Long gone. That thing is sold off. I don't know why I want to short the pops in Apple, but I kind of do because I feel like Apple you can get like, your 10, 15 pennies for scalp purposes and just dip. That's the type of trading I need. Tesla, I'm really happy here. I actually did take about 10 pennies on this long. I'm only taking Tesla, to be clear, as a book scalp because I agree with Sean and Sharif. Reading this as like a trend move is near impossible. If I see stuff I like in the book, I'm getting involved in whatever direction. That is the extent to which I'm getting involved. This thing has been wild. That being said, on both the book and the chart, I'm seeing a bit of an attempt to hold that 220.70s area here. Look at this wick into the 90 MA. Look at this. It's beautiful. We come into that 220 area on a wick basis, right back up. If we can hold this, and it's a big if, that's a ginormous if, giant I, capital F. If we can hold this, I do want some smoke in a very brief, very scalpy long. But I'd also rather see what we do at 221s first, because that was a massive area. 221s, if you were involved in Tesla, could not always do something for you. That's the thing. But we need to wait and see what it does here. Do its thing 21. We're back to that area. We are chopping, and we certainly are churning. And we're also always very grateful for our sponsors at Benzinga to the Pro.
Yes. Tired of being late to the trade? Are you always playing catch up in the market? Are you missing out on those big moves because you're too slow to the news? Well, Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Well, if you are, visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial today. Shout out to the good folks there at Benzinga. They got a scanner, they got news alerts, they got everything. They got the gauntlet. So make sure if you don't have something to support your trading every day with these breaking news alerts, scanners, etc. If you know day trading, you know that you need this kind of stuff. Get on over there to our friends at Benzinga and get yourself 50% off. Who could complain about that? All right, so I've got my short set up here on the Zuck train to defend this 468 and change bottom. So the resting order here is because Meta is awfully spready and catching this one sometimes can be a bit difficult. Hence, I've used the resting order to be able to, number one, be higher in priority for the fill. And number two, because, well, trying to fight with this one can be a bit of a fool's game sometimes. So here we go. Coming into 468. Let's see if it crosses now. It's going to have to cross. I'm waiting. Where am I waiting? At 15s or 10s or something like that. All right, so let's see what it does. It's coming right into the area that I like, but we're going to have to see if it rejects. So this is going to be super interesting to watch right now. I already took in 3 bad trades on Tesla, so can't really afford to take too many bad trades over here. So we're going to try to give it room if it does weasel its way up there. But we're going to have to be very strict. There we go. Now we're filled on META. So now we're going to put in the out there for, oh, we're already nicely in the money here. So we're going to have to.
Nice.
Oh, I just changed that. All right, so let's see if we can cover a little bit down around here. Okay, and now we're going to put in our stop. All right, there we go. Sorry, just give me a second here. Can I send it to you for a second?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
I'm just watching Tesla. Story of my life. No, I'm joking. But Tesla looked like a nice little short scalp here at that 221 area, lower highs, lower lows. To be clear, I am still not getting out yet. I need to wait because we are still below that 221.30s. What I'm not liking, though, is where I got in at that 221.09s. It's actually weirdly holding a support. That is not a vibe I like. Like I said, I have a nasty little habit of, habits makes it sound like worse than it is. It's not intentional. I find that for whatever reason, I have a tendency to occasionally get involved in shorts at support and longs at resistance. No, like don't do that, right? So I want to keep an eye on this. That being said, we're curling, we're coiling, but right now, I want to hear what you did with that meta.
All right,
we
got nicely on it there, like over 50 pennies. Now I'm looking here for $1. If we can get $1, that would just be aces. Thank you, Katina Man. I appreciate you there. I'm sitting at 467 1/3. We're printing 55s. Let's see if we can weasel our way down into that third of $1. I'm gonna pack my patience here on this trade. We're short 17s at printing 56. I'm waiting, like I said, at 33s. If we can, here comes 45s. All right, a little bit more, baby. Let's go. back up to 51s. Okay, 45 and 51 seem to be doing the little dance there. So we're going to pack our patience here, although I am seeing some green candleage come in on the future.
Candleage. I like it.
Yeah, you and Raymond reacted both at the same time. I love it. I mean, I'm seeing some green candles on Apple, you know, not much on Amazon. Obviously, Tesla is a bit of a different story because it's printing up a storm of green candles right now, right back into that 221.5 there on TSLA. But look, guys, this one, if it doesn't, it's right back almost into my entry as we are above 468 again. I don't want any smoke because I've already had trouble with Tesla. So if we break up into my price, then that's going to be the end of my trade. And it's weaseling up again, META, weaseling its way right back up into my entry. So we're going to have to see exactly what the deal is with this one or whether we flush a little bit right back down. Could have covered, but, you know, we had the resting order at that level. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man has done his trade on the TQs. That was how many, Banger? Show it. The last piece. What are you working on? Google Long. The Katina Man is now working on a Google Long trade, so keep your eye out for that. Shout out to him. He's printing up a storm on that side of the desk on the TQQs. He wanted me to mention as well that Tesla is still the #1 traded name on the floor. So even though I traded it like a buffoon, it doesn't mean that everybody else traded it like a buffoon. Yeah. No, I know that you weren't implying that. But time of day, big move down earlier on TSLA. So if you caught that, shout out to you.
Yeah, I'm just scalping over here. And I know that maybe I sounded really sad when I said that, but no, I like scalping. That's where I'm in my happy place. I was able to take 9 cents on the Tesla short. Woo, no, I'm joking. But yeah, like seriously, I basically what happened was AMD. I'm going to trust you, okay, AMD, do your thing. But I was really proud of what I did here. Why is my mic doing this? With my Tesla, because I saw, I liked that 221 short. I had reasons for liking my 221 short, my 221.09s. Then I realized I was like, Adara, we're not going to get below 221s. Cut it off at 221s. I get out, we pop to 222. So like I totally agree with what Sharif and Sean had to say with the bamboozlement in Tesla. I'm only interested in Tesla, as I said, as a book scalp. AMD got a cool, like, 1 penny away from my out on the short and then popped up. So I was like, thanks, AMD, but no thanks. This thing getting weirdly bullish for a name that had multiple topping tail candles and seemed very weak. So we're going to try to get out of this. There we go. Out of AMD. I don't know why I collapsed. I lost 30 pennies on that, unfortunately. But yeah, it's all good there, baby. Just trying to continue to find trades here. Apple. Look at Apple coming to this 218. Look at Apple below the 90 MA.
Yeah.
Look at Apple trying to reject with these 90 MAs. I'll stop talking like a slam poet, but Apple looks like it's trying to slam back below that 218 area. So it's like, you know what, Apple? I'll take that grand slam. That's baseball, right? There we go.
Yes.
Hopefully we don't strike out on this, which reminds me, CrowdStrike. Sometimes puns remind me of stocks. I'm like, oh, cool. CrowdStrike down about 2.7% on the day. Still good volume. We've got, CrowdStrike here, about 8.3 million shares here, $261. Just gradual downtrend, but not one that's clear enough for me to read. I like that we're below the 90 MA, but CrowdStrike has, you can get, your mind can go overcrowded in this stock for sure, just the way it moves. Make sure as you're looking at all these markets, you're not getting too exhausted, which leads us to a kind of rough transition into exhaustion gaps.
Have you seen the new Meta AI? You're not on Instagram at all. I know you're not. But
I like peruse it. I don't really do social media.
Okay, I got to tell you about it. So the Zuck, our boy Zuck, went on his platform yesterday, Instagram, and showed exactly how it's done. It was actually pretty cool.
Really?
So you say to the Meta AI, be like, hey, show me as a gladiator, right? You say that, and it's like, okay, great, I will, no problem. But you got to take a couple of pictures. So it tells you what angles to twist your face and like. Kind of like Face ID when you're doing that, and it gets a full picture of you, and then it starts generating all these different things specifically as you want it. Show me as a knight, blah, blah, blah. Show me as this, show me as that. So I thought it was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Because people use that for LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Like they're like, they take like an info picture in their pajamas, and they want a LinkedIn picture, right?
Yeah.
Suited up. So I thought that was really cool.
I really like that. My friend, was trying to do that with, like last year we were trying to do that with ChatGPT, but it sounds like this is a way better way
look
of
what he
doing it.
did. He's riding a llama. Get it?
Oh!
Yeah,
Zuck with the pun.
Yes, he's doing things 21. Shout out to him. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
seriously, that's really cool. Thanks for showing me that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, let's get to the lesson of the day. We're talking about exhaustion gaps today, Ram. And we're going to be talking about exhaustion gaps today and tomorrow because there are two different types. One gaps up, continues what looks like to be the trend, only to tank after that. And one gaps down at the end of a long uptrend. So today we're going to talk about the gap down version. Tomorrow we'll talk about the gap up and then fill version. So traders, fasten your seatbelts. Today we'll explore exhaustion gaps, potential signals for a trend might be running out of steam. So let's get right to what are exhaustion gaps. So imagine a strong uptrend that's been chugging along for days, weeks, or month, whatever time frame you are trading on. Suddenly, a gap appears, not upwards this time, but down. That's an exhaustion gap, a significant jump down in price with no trading activity in between. It potentially signifies a loss of momentum and a possible trend reversal. And this is kind of what it looks like. So you'll have to just imagine that there's a big boy trend coming up here. We're making higher lows. We're making higher highs. Everybody feels good about themselves. They're printing up a storm. Overnight, boom. Some bad news catalyst, macroeconomic, maybe company specific, whatever. It has the effect of making this closing price really kind of create a void, and this is where we end up opening up. So we close at that level. We all know how Japanese candlesticks work, and we end up opening at this level with this void here where no trading activity took place overnight. And it behooves me to tell you that if you are including overnight trade or outside regular trading hours data on your charts, you may not be seeing the true gaps. So you got to go and make sure you understand how your trading software works, because if you include 4 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. prints, if you include 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. prints, it's going to basically convolute the chart, and you won't be seeing the gaps as they truly appear with the closing and opening prices. I just want to mention that. And here is an exhaustion gap kind of accompanied by a double top. We'll kind of talk about this at the end, where you can include chart patterns to see whether or not, or to add that extra level of confirmation to your analysis on gaps. So the importance of exhaustion gaps. Why are they important? Well, they tell you that the trend is exhausted. I love that. Exhaustion gaps often occur near the end of a strong trend, indicating that buyers are losing confidence and sellers are starting to gain control in the markets. And it also foreshadows, or not foreshadows, but it also tells you that there is increased selling pressure. The gap down suggests a surge in selling pressure overwhelming the buying force that had been previously in place, which created those higher highs and higher lows. And it also has the effect of having a negative psychological impact on the market. Exhaustion gaps can trigger fear among trend-following traders, accelerating the selling pressure and potentially leading to an all-out trend reversal. So be on the lookout for that. So how do we trade these exhaustion gaps? Today, we'll give you two different ways. We'll talk about one, taking profits for those who are already long on the trend, and for those like Big Spile Burdette and the others who love to see the world burn, we'll talk about taking the short position. I'm kidding, Big Kyle. Shout out to you. We'll talk about taking a short position upon the formation of the exhaustion gap. So let's talk about that. So profit taking for long positions, an exhaustion gap can be a signal to consider taking some profits on your long positions, especially if you've been holding them for a significant gain during the uptrend. Here's what to look for. First and foremost, overall uptrend maturity. If the uptrend has been in place for a long time, there has been multiple prior pullbacks, an exhaustion gap might be a sign that the uptrend is nearing its end. But there are other bearish signals you need to take account of here. Look for confirmation from other technical indicators, like, for example, declining moving averages, like they're pointing down rather than pointing up. You're also looking for bearish divergence between the price action and some oscillators. We've done lessons on this in the past with RSI, with MACD. If RSI is making lower highs, for example, and the price is making higher highs, that's a bearish divergence, and you need to be careful because the trend could be coming to an end there. And here's what I'm talking about having multiple pullbacks into support on the uptrend. You know, if we end up seeing a gap after we've been testing that area of support multiple times, at least locally, you might be on the lookout there for a reversal. So shorting, how do you use exhaustion gaps to get successfully in short positions? Let's talk about that. Exhaustion gaps can offer potential entry points for those looking for short selling, betting on a trend reversal. However, cautious entry after confirmation is crucial. Here's what to look for. Confirmation of the downtrend. First and foremost, we want to make sure that we're actually in a downtrend, a real downtrend, not just, you know, a localized retracement before we pop up. So look for a price break below a key area of support or continuation of the downtrend. That means lower highs, lower lows, right? After the exhaustion gap has formed. This suggests stronger likelihood of a sustained downtrend. You should also be on the lookout for increased selling volume. The exhaustion gap should be accompanied by a surge in selling volume, signifying a shift in market sentiment. And confirmation from other indicators can never be overstated on anything technical analysis. You're looking for bearish signals essentially from other technical tools like moving averages pointing down or falling momentum on the oscillators. For example, if now you are coming out of oversold territory into the neutral zone. And here's kind of what we look at there. You have a big uptrend, and then you actually gap up. So this is the gap we'll be talking about tomorrow, the one that you actually gap up, but then it's quickly filled subsequent to that. So this is the gap here that we're talking about today, the down gap at the end of a large uptrend. So with all the different looks that you can see here with exhaustion gaps, it behooves us to know when it may be a false signal. So that's what we're going to talk about now. So exhaustion gaps can sometimes be misleading. The price might just be taking a breather, for example, before resuming the trend upwards. Here are some methods that can help you identify potential false signals. First and foremost, limited follow through. So here, if the price struggles to maintain the downward momentum after an exhaustion gap and fails to make new lows, it could be a sign of a weak downtrend or a potential trend continuation of the uptrend. So you need to be careful with that. And you're also looking for lower volume after the gap, right? A surge in selling volume typically accompanies a bearish exhaustion gap. If the volume fizzles out after the exhaustion gap, it might indicate a lack of conviction behind the selling pressure. And if other indicators that you're using remain bullish, for example, if you're getting bullish divergence between the price and the oscillator, if you're still, maybe in oversold territory on the RSI, if you've gotten a bullish MACD crossover, you are looking at other technical indicators to see, are they also pointing bearish, or is there a conflicting signal from other technicals that are still pointing to the uptrend? So that's what you want to be on the lookout for there. And as a bonus tip, just to leave you guys with this, combine exhaustion gaps with other reversal patterns, chart patterns, like double tops, triple tops, inverse head and shoulders, even candlestick patterns, bearish engulfing patterns on the candlestick, for example, to help, build your confirmation and to give you a better, better confidence. What I forget, Obi-Wan, what's yours again? Confidera. I'll get better, I promise. That's the look there. How you doing?
I'm awake. Although I am probably going to go for a little coffee run soon because I've talked about this a lot, like tired trading. Now, I don't know, because I know I experience like exhaustion in a bit of a different way, but like, when your brain feels like tired. So whenever I know when that hits, it's like, girl, get out of the trade, just take a moment. I did like this Apple though, which is why I got in. This is the only, like I said, I have tired trade rules now. And one of those is it levels you have a read on and that you've looked at previously? This Apple, I've been talking about Apple all day, which for me is kind of unheard of. It's not one I give a lot of love to. Sorry, Tim Cook. But no issue with the company. I just got a new iPhone. I'm just not as much of an AAPL trader, right? But I tried the short here, below the 90 MA. The level was bad. I shouldn't have gotten involved in the first place. But then I see that we do have these higher lows here in the book, and it looks like we're trying to curl higher. I liked what we had in the book. I liked what we had in the chart. It was like, Adara, try it for a long, smallerish position. but we cannot get above 218.10s. We can't even really get to 218.10s. We're getting to like 218.07. So cool 3-penny winner. No, I'm joking. But seriously, yeah, okay. Don't like this move down below 90s. Happy I tried the long. It was one I had a read on, but and now Apple won't even let me out. So cool, thanks. Let's see how that goes. But basically, yeah, here that was. I think it's definitely a time where the tired trading is unfortunately taking the wheel. This has been a really rough 3-day streak for me that I'm trying to break. And you know what? Try, as Yoda says, there's no try, there's only do. I have an hour and a half left. If you know, we got this coffee, we have this awakeness, I think we can make things happen. I tried to spy long, and this is when I could tell I was tired, because I was seeing the book kind of go against me here in this long, and I was like, Adara, it'll be fine. It's like, no, get out. So definitely, like I said, not trying to take trades that when I'm tired, especially if it's what I don't have as much of a read on. Happy I tried the Apple, because I did have some reads on that, but I think the long was, or the short was definitely the right call in the first place. I just had the entry point wrong. Why was I getting involved at like 80s short on Apple instead of that 218 area? So let's see how this is going. Aaron Vergara, that is not an issue there, but thank you for putting that out. I do appreciate the advice. AMD though, really interesting to me here. AMD, we got that wick above the 90 EMA, and then we came right back down. So let me show you what I mean here. This is, we have this area here, what is this? 147.70s. We wick up all the way into 148.10s, and then we come to the downside. So let's see how we do here on AMD, waffling with 147. I have traded 3 names today: AMD, Tesla, Apple, and SPY. Tesla is the one I feel like in some ways I've had the best read on. And to be clear, not the chart. The Tesla chart has been so bamboozling. It is redefining the word bamboozling. But Tesla, what Tesla's been giving you that's been interesting has been fun book scalps. I need to do more of those fun book scalps. Tesla, I see you. I cannot take you with very much size because risk. But, you know, if you believe in a trade, I do think you owe it to yourself to take it. Let's get back on that high horse, clip, clop, and hopefully make some trades that are like understandable and comprehensible. Let's go. Do you want a coffee or anything?
Oh, no, thank you.
Or water? Okay, perfect. No worries. I think I will probably do that.
All right, do your thing.
Appreciate that.
27 over there. Let me know how it goes.
You're muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Jeez, Ram is yelling at me. All right. All right, just got short on the Zuck train over here as it starts curling back down, possibly another 10 exponential retracement. We're going to give this one up into 469er. If it breaks 469, we are gonzino on this one. Let's put in said stop over here. And, oh, boy. Let's see if we get up in there. I think I'm going to change that, actually. Well, I'll watch it for a second, and then we'll see. We'll change it. I'm looking for this to curl back down on META. It was a nice recovery. We had a bounce back up from 465.04, which was the low of day. We got back into 468.70. So I'm looking for essentially a 469 rejection, excuse me, and a curl back down, but we will see what we get there. We're short at 09s, it's printing 15s right now, so we're out of the money at the moment. I'm also keeping on Apple because Adara was very accurate, in my opinion, pointing out that Apple had curled back into that 218, and it seems to have a bit of a dalliance right now for whatever reason with this 218 level. It's obviously a level of resistance at the moment, but not really breaking above there. It's at the 10 exponential, but I still feel, you know, at the deepest, it may retrace into the 20, like at that 218.15 or around there. So we'll keep tabs on that. Microsoft just printed low days right now at 430.44. So that 430 could be coming in fast and furious here on the soft one. We'll have to make decisions about how we trade Microsoft at 430. Microsoft, Apple, and the like, none of which really have kind of even touched the 20 exponential on the day. I mean, the last time Microsoft was touching the 20 exponential was at 955. Everything else has been either below or at the 10 exponential on the 5-minute chart. So tough, interesting look here for the longs, or sorry, excuse me, for the shorts. I'm just keeping on Meta because now this is weaseling its way up into that 469 area, and this stops me out at 469. Well, then we're going to get stopped out over here. It's printed 93s. It has not been my day today on these Mag 7 names if I get stopped out here. The 20 exponential, I guess, is at 469.26, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to sit there and DCA into it, so we're already out of that. Yeah, it's been a tough day for me today, guys. That's just the way it is, and that's how trading is. So we'll keep an eye. I'll be definitely interested on Meta if it rejects that 20 exponential on the 5 at around 469 and a third. That's not too far from here anyway, so we'll keep tabs on that. What is everybody else looking at? Almog, would you consider dollar cost averaging on the Meta trade? You entered with your full size already? No. No, I didn't enter with full size because, well, we're on the show, and it's a bit tougher to do that on the show. So here, what are we doing here on Meta? We're still dancing with 469. I'm still very interested on this trade. I don't think the winds of change are coming on Meta. It's just about getting the right price, really. So I'm keeping an eye here on META. It's just about, you know, waiting for it to curl a little bit back down because it's still moving up. There we go, moving up into that third of a dollar now, or quarter of a dollar, excuse me. We'll keep a tap. Yeah, now it's at a third. Here comes the $0.50 on Meta. So yeah, definitely happy I got out where I did, but I'm still very interested in this short if we do reject here. I'm seeing Apple come into the 20 as well. So now Apple and Meta are both at the 20 exponential on the 5, and I like both short here to be quite. The Katina man is taking out some Google up here, so shout out to him on that. Hope he prints, no question about it. We're going short on the dead one Apple up here for this short. I'm also interested on Meta, but I'll get to that one in a hot second. We're short at 39s. My out is going to be the break of 60 over here, so we're going to go ahead and put 218.61 as said out. All right, there we go. 218.66. All right, so we're short 39s. We'll let that one work. Shout out to the Katina man who's printing up a storm, it looks like, over there on Google. But here we go with Meta again, right back into that 469er area on there. So good luck. Let's see if we can get short here on the Zuck train, or this is going to be another pop-up up here. But Apple came into the 20 exponential while you were gone, Adara.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh,
I know.
Apple. The long was the right call.
Well, we'll see. I'm short, so I'm hoping it's the
sorry,
wrong call.
I was just at the time I was in it.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. All right, so I'm going to send it to you for a sec here because I have to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I power walked back here. We are going to be more awake. You know, you gotta just, you know, seeing is believing. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize that. My mic is doing things. But yeah, let's see here. Basically, like I said, trying to be more awake. And what I am awake to is Tesla trying to bounce here off 20s. This was an area I liked. I was actually interested in the short off 30s before I went, but I was like, Adara, you got to stand up. And now I'm coming back and it's doing this. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I do want this smoke. I don't want this smoke with very much size because, you know, we're trying to gain back that confidence, that confidence. As part of my tired trading rules, taking less size is definitely part of that. But I'm seeing higher lows here. I don't think I'll get 30s actually with regards to the higher lows that I am seeing. But you know what? I'm going to try to adjust this again. I don't want to chase. But what as Neil says, sometimes you maybe want more price areas. I think I've definitely missed the move here. But that was a 30-cent pop up here in Tesla. The point I'm trying to make is I think, you know, sometimes you have to trust your reads on things. If the only thing I'm comfortable reading right now is the Tesla book, and I honestly think that's the case, I need to stick with the Tesla book. That is what I will be trying to trade for the rest of the day. These book scalps on TSLA. I've noticed my days that are better, not always the case, but generally I find are the days where I trade more names. I haven't traded very many names today. I feel like I haven't, you know, the one name that I'm oddly more confident reading is TSLA. Now, that 30s was support, resistance, support flip. If we flip back to the resistance, I'm taking this as a scalp short. I'm not sure if we will, but I am seeing something very fascinating here. You could see it on the 9 EMA. You could see how we can't get above that 222. You can't, but I can see Sharif pumping his fist, so it looks like we don't have any punks on this side of the desk.
We're printing on both, Adara. There we go. Let's get down. Meta, yes, Meta, you little punk. There we go. We take that one, and we took a print on Tesla as well. There we go. The Chilean nightmare is not usually around during the midday show, so he never sees my antics and he's a little surprised by it. I love Chilean man. Shout out to Fabian, baby. All right, so we took out Meta. We're done with Meta. Oh, come on. We got short 468.85. I was able to cover the entire thing at 40, so we took 45 pennies quick as you like. But the dead one allowed me to print for a nice 15-penny winner here, but it's moving right back into my area again. So AAPL, even though it rejects a little bit at the 20 exponential on the 5, still a little bit of strength because it's so beat down, 3%. It got an upgrade today from like so many different people. So I thought there would be a little bit of buying pressure on Apple. Not today, though. My man, Adam DeLuce, was looking at flights to Toronto last night. We'll DM you on Insta. Thank you, my man. Definitely let me know. You know Adam's coming in October, right? Yeah. October, Katina, man. Hopefully it's October this year. We don't have that thing anymore. I used to have that that little October. Yeah. Well, we had to put other stuff, right? And besides, it was no longer October anymore, Dara. Anyway, what's it called is moving up here. So Apple, even though I was able to de-risk on it, this is moving up. If it breaks 61, I'm gonzino. So we're going to clear the orders there, 218. We're going to put 61s there, and we're going to cover the entire thing if it prints above that, because I do not want smoke from Apple if it mean reverts, and it looks like it is. It looks like it's popping up here a little bit through the $0.5. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see whether this move is sustained or not, but keeping this short on until, sorry about that, yeah. Keeping my eye on Meta as well, because this one is still headed down into 468, so good look there. I was able to make some money back on the day. We were doing quite badly as we got punched in the face multiple times today, so it was a bit tough today. October, yes, Roger. October scam, yeah, it was a scam. It wasn't up at all, but November was a very good month, if you'll recall. November was a... What's up?
Yeah, she wants me to take over.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Forgot
so
to plug in.
TSLA, the tired trade rules are telling me not to trade right now, but Tesla, I was really interested in that 221.30 short. That would have worked out. But yeah, so basically, I'm keeping an eye here on this TSLA. Now I am seeing higher lows. Even though we do have these topping tail candles, for my scalp purposes, the way we're holding 80s is not bad at all. So I do want some of the smoke, but right now I'm going to have a sip of some of my coffee, I think, before I do that, because I want to make sure I'm confident in what I'm seeing in this Tesla. What else am I looking at? Someone was asking about, can we take a look at CMG before earnings and yell and see what kind of guacamole they're going to report tonight, because CMG does report tonight. Holy guacamole, we might be saying to the CMG report. You can check that out in the market recap. But right now, CMG, man.
You like guacamole?
Pardon?
Do you like guacamole?
I don't mind guacamole at CMG, at Chipotle. I can't call you the ticker name. At Chipotle, I like queso. I don't really do the guacamole, but their mild is so spicy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I have to say, okay, well, I literally told you the other day, I was saying this story. I got wings that were allegedly light mild. I got allegedly light mild chicken, and the nerve endings around my lips were on fire. So I'm like, I have really bad spice tolerance, or those things were wrong. But anyways, I think these CMG earnings could be spicy. This is their first post-split report. As we had Neil say yesterday, that doesn't mean it's going to do anything special just because it's the first post-split report. But if you zoom in, Chipotle's been, those chips with a dip have been cracking to the downside here, taking lower highs, lower lows for the CMG. This thing split at $67. What happened to that? We're at 51, so let's take a look and see what Chipotle does. I know the guac is extra. Bring all of it, says Noah. Great pun. And I think if you're long Chipotle, you definitely want to see what it brings in those earnings. That is for darn sure. What other things are people looking at right now? TQQ new low, says Rapid Home Repair. Yeah, that is a pretty rapid descent there for those TQs. Yeah, I did say allegedly bears versus bulls, because we don't know if that was really light mild. If that was light mild, then I might be the Pope. But this TQ, that's how confident I am that was not really light or mild. But this TQ is bit of a flat bottom break here. Lower highs here around 67s, and we quadrupled from the bottom. Shout out to Sean and his TQQ trade that he had. This is a really interesting look here for the Qs. Microsoft 430 breaker lower, says David Clark. I'm just looking to see what some of the people are saying in the chat. Microsoft, that's been a micro intense move. If you were long, this chart might be killing you softy. But shout out to the Fugees there. But this is, it's another flat bottom break. Yeah.
The Fugees.
Fugees. Oh, the Fugees. Okay, we're going through with that fun. We have too much fun on this desk. But look at these lower highs. Look at this flat bottom break quadrunk here on Microsoft. I don't want to say hockey stick, but it's kind of hockey stick-ish. The pattern you're getting here. Looks like you're hit that puck to the downside. Goal, I don't know how hockey works. But yeah, Microsoft, if we come back to this 431, this could be interesting to me. Like I said, though, rough decisions have been made, but it looks like Sharif is pleased as punch with his Apple. So I want to hear about the Apple cider trade you got going on.
We're printing on it, Adara. And by the way, Ram, because you hit the crickets, I'm not going to tell Adam what you wanted me to tell him. Ooh. All right, we're covering that trade. Boom. Shout out to my man, Adam DeLuce. Look, Adam, Ram wants me to tell you that it's her birthday in October. So when you come, you you may or may not want to get her a present. If you don't, you're definitely not going to find an enemy in me. I promise you that. So shout out to Adam DeLuce. All right, Apple rejecting the 20 exponential on the dang 5, and so did Meta, and I took both Ram and both printed, so I'm happy with this. I'm still negative on the day, but I was able to make some money back. I was in trouble on the day, to be quite honest with you, because of those Tesla trades. I've been taking bigger size. I really haven't said anything to anybody about that, but I've been taking a little bit larger size, so that the hits when they come are going to be a little bit larger, and that's just the way it is. So we did well on this Apple trade. I did well on the Meta trade, but now what's the next one? So let's watch Softy, because Softy was absolutely holding up at 430. You know, we kept watching that. Really, the level, though, was 430 and a half. We kept bouncing off that 430 and a half. Then this candle came, and all the smoke came in, all the selling came in. There is nary a bid to be had anywhere on these Mag 7 names, even for the Cybertruck, which is now curling right back down again. So I still can't believe we've made this move. All right, let's have a look here on the future, because what I want to see is where we could stop the bleeding. Now, a healthy correction on the markets that is about 10%. So we got to about 21,000. So if we take the top at 21,000 and we drag back down over here, and we get to 10%. 10% takes us to about 18.8. So I'm assuming, well, I'm not assuming anything. We either hold up at 19,000 and then start, buying a little bit, or this 18,800. That's a 10% correction. And you recall when we talked about this last year, I showed you guys the NDX and the correction that we got in July of last year. Let's have a look at that. So that was an interesting correction there. Where's my July day? There it is. So from top to bottom there, in July, we topped out the market. In July, we didn't break those July highs until, remember, late November. So from the top to the bottom there, for the July low, before we retraced a little bit higher, we got down to about almost 9% from top to bottom there. So from the top of the NDX in July, which was around almost 16,000, let's just call it 16,000, and then we dropped all the way down to about 14,500. So we lost about 1,500 points in that July dip before we found a bit of a bottom in mid to late August, and then made a lower high. Remember, this was a correction wave. This absolutely looks like Elliott waves. And then we popped right back up again. So interesting look here on the market. So I'm anticipating, this is just a guess, we hold up at 19,000 or 18,800 at the most here, possibly for the retracement that we've been having on these markets. But obviously, that could change, because we could get a recession, we could get a bad jobs numbers, anything can happen to change that analysis. So that's just a quick analysis there. Adam, I'll be there possibly for my B-Day as well. Shout out to Adam. Ram, it's going to be Adam's birthday as well, so you might have to get him a present. Kyle Burdett.
Plot twist.
I'll ask him in the DMs, because I don't know if he wants to reveal his birthday. Ram. I don't know, because identity theft? I don't know. Witchcraft. No one suggested witchcraft, Ram. We were talking about identity theft. Calm down. Ram is amazing. Kyle Burdett. When can we call this what it is? A blow-off top. Look at the monthly candle chart. Let's have a look at what Big Spile is talking about over here. Let's bring back the indexes and pull up the monthly candle.
Can't believe witchcraft.
I don't know where she got that from. I was not trying to insinuate that. That's one ugly monthly candle, Big Spile. That is the mother of all topping tail candles on the SPX. I did the SPX for you, my man. Otherwise, I typically look at the NDX. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man is long Google and NVIDIA, and he's printing up a storm, so make sure you're getting on over to More Trader TV to see what the Katina Man is doing. All right, so here is the July 2023. Let's have a look at July 20. Yeah, so we didn't look like that, Big Spile, but we definitely, we had multiple red days there, so. Katina Man. You don't like Big Spile? Yeah, it's okay. I like it because he trades a SPY, right? That's the way it is. So shout out, yeah, to Big Kyle Burdett there.
Yeah, sorry guys, I haven't taken any trades today. Like I said, with the tired trading rule, and that, just because comes when I do sit down for like any kind of period of time, sometimes the brain will have a little nap. And so I don't want to take any trades I'm not super comfortable in. That being said, Tesla, I've loved this 221 area. This has been a support and resistance flip-flop all day, 221.30s. When it was resistance, it was a great short. When it's been support, it's been a nice little long the pop, scalp long, I want to clarify. This is not a long that has lasted for a long time anytime we've seen it hit. But when we have seen it hit, it has given you, like 10, 20 pennies, which for my purposes of trading, that's not a bad look at all for how I trade. That being said, though, we're having lower highs. Last time we had this 221.30 pop, we got into 60s. This time, we're barely in 40s. So I think this is going to be another short. But I do want to wait to see what we do at 221.30. Again, if we have the little freak down, I think I can get at least 50 pennies out of it. That's what I'm waiting for. We're going to wait to make that nice, big, hopefully white whale of a trade. Shout out to Moby Dick there and Ahab, the Fisher dude or whatever. Or the whale, I don't know.
Ahab and the whale, yeah.
But yeah, it's been a minute. But let's take a look at this. But also, guys,
Get it.
if you want to vote for a stock, just vote. Exclamation point, join space, $, whatever ticker you want. Maybe it's AMD, maybe it's TSLA, maybe it's IWM, maybe it's SPY, maybe Adair's looking at her side charts again. But whatever ticker you want, you please vote. And you might be like, what am I voting for? Well, we have a new segment brought to you by Real Trading. It's been going on for, I think, like a month now or a few weeks. Sharif goes on the green screen. He gives you tickers and he tells you what the news is. And then in this case, it's going to be Sean Fidence and Obi Wanfidence.
Yes.
They're going to come over there and they're going to tell you, hey, this is what we liked on it. This is what we didn't like on it. So let us know so that they can have tickers to look at for you. Tesla's flipping, so I'm flipping into my short. Oh, okay, never mind. Not waiting here. Waiting to see what we do with 30s once again. Tesla being a skosh bamboozling, and this is one bamboozler you do not want to get caught up in as someone who got a little bit chopped up in it earlier. So let's see what we do here in T to the S, the L to the A. We do have an auction as well coming up in short order. And that is going to be the 5-year note auction at 1 p.m. I do have eyes on that. I will let you guys know when we see that coming. So that re-auction can always be fun. And actually, maybe I want to scalp the futures for the re-auction because that could be interesting. Tesla, though, breaking down. Okay, I've got to get involved in this.
Yeah,
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm looking at Apple. I'm looking at getting short here on the dead one because it's curling right back down. So we covered our position on that 20-period exponential retracement, and down we go below 218 again, 217.91. Sorry, I'm looking at my side screen over here because I'm looking at the 5-minute chart, and I do like this look over here because this is a rounded toppy top. Rounded top, yeah. Toppy top. There we go. So we're short now on AAPL. We're going to try to manage this bad boy here, and knowing full well that it has seen a bit of exhaustion on the day. I mean, it's down decidedly despite the fact that it did get multiple upgrades. It was JP Morgan and who else?
JP Morgan and Barclays.
And Barclays, thank you. Barclays was the backhanded upgrade when they upgraded it to like, I don't know. What
187.
Yeah. So down goes Apple again, bang. So let's see if we can hold this one down into LOD, low of days, baby. I'd like to see something around possibly 217 and a third, 217 and a half. Let's see if we can weasel some more trades on AAPL as the long-term account takes a nice punch in the face. But I'm going to tell you, I'm thinking really about rotating a lot of the let's call them speculative names that I have in my personal account. And, names that are a bit more high beta. And I'm thinking about really rolling everything into Apple, kind of like in the way that Alfred did when he made $250,000 in 2019 on, he did.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he did. He made $250,000 on Tesla.
That was Alfred.
I saw it with my own eyes, too. So, he printed up a storm there. He was all in. He doesn't actually believe in diversification, which I find to be a little bizarre, to be honest with you. Yeah, he doesn't. He's like, I'm all in on something, and if I have high conviction in it, I have high conviction. So I'm continuing to watch Apple over here because it is bouncing a little bit. I was able to de-risk. I mean, I'm just going to give it to 218s. If it breaks above 218, we'll get out. But I'm looking for a continued move down here. I don't want to see an inverse or a hammer candle to make a higher low. That's not what I want at all. So we'll go ahead and hang out over here and look to cover if we definitely get that break. That's not what I want to do, right? So we're going to go like this up here, and then we'll go like that. There we go. So I'm sorry, I'm just putting in my stops. So the stop is in place, and we'll see what we get, and we won't get upset with this one. If it breaks, that's fine. Keeping an eye on some other names now. Interesting levels here starting to take place on goggles. So there is, it looks like there is some support at this level over here, and I'm unsurprised by that because that's where the IB low was. So look at this level on Google over here at around 172 and change. For whatever reason now, this 172.25 keeps getting buy orders. Like, what is going on over here? So basically starting at 12 o'clock and going into right now, each dip into this 172.25, and now it's moving up into the third. So initially started with these 4 candles over here at the $0.25, and then these candles started moving up to $0.33. So a little bit actually higher than $0.33. So whatever reason here, we're getting a bit of a bottom on Google. So buying around this level seems to be profitable, at least for the moment. So something we probably have to keep a lookout for here. Go down, Apple, you punk. Come on, more. Well, it just came back into those lows again, but it didn't stop me out. So I'm gonna hold on to it a little bit more over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. I can keep talking.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't.
Yeah, no. If you have something to say,
No, I
take
don't.
it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm looking at that level on Google now. It behooves me to load up goggles. So we'll take off Meta over here and we'll put on goggles. Hopefully there won't be umpteen amount of wicks to distort this chart. There we go. Right back down into that range. Now we're going to have to wait to see some confirmation candle to make newer highs. And that's what I want to see over here because we're going to take this bad boy long and try to play this 173 to 172, excuse me, and a half range on goggles. It seems to be holding up at this level. So this is an interesting look. And here it comes back into the $0.50. So if I get in here, what's the sitch? What's the sitch? Yeah, this is a good area to get in. I can give it basically to there. There we, why didn't it trigger? What the hell's going on up there? There we go. Now we're long goggles. All right, where are we long? We're long at 54s. So the stop is going to go at 39s. So we'll go like that, and now we're done with the stop. Now we'll put in the beak wetters to see if we can wet our beak on some stops over, or on some prints over here. Going back to Apple, Apple right back into that 80 area. Low 80s, excuse me, but it's still putting in lower lows and lower highs. So I'm going to give this one the old college triad arrow.
Or the old med school triad.
Bang, and we printed on Google. There we go.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Google's searching for some profits. You found them. Don't have to put on those goggles. That trade is clear as day to me. I want to shout you out for that. Shout out to the mustache. Oh, I just bruised my wrist there.
Hey.
Mustachioed man to my right. Did you 2 winners? Mm-hmm. 2 winners.
Hey, thank
Go
you.
Sharif.
I appreciate
Make 7
you,
who? That was magnificent
We're
trading.
still negative, though. We're still negative. I'm trying to fight out of it.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
which I appreciate. This is my 3rd very red day in a row. It is not a great day to end a month. I want to be honest about it, though, because that's what we're all about here on Trader TV Live, and I want to talk about it. And it's called Adara, Trust Your Instincts, or insert whatever your name is here, Trust Your Instincts. I was yapping ad nauseum about, oh, Tesla short, 221.30, blah, 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 blah. But then I was like, oh, but the chart, it's kind of bouncing. I saw a bit of a bounce. I went long 221.30. I couldn't get out. I could not get out. I just narrowly avoided getting shut down here. I'm not proud of it. I have to be really honest because I'm not. I want to take risks. And you know, as Sean and Neil both said, you can't be afraid of getting shut down. I just don't like having 3 very red days in a row. It's not the type of trading I want to be doing because I'm taking this very seriously, right?
Feel you.
So exactly. I'm lucky to have the opportunity to trade, so I don't want to be squandering this opportunity, or at least in my view, squandering this opportunity. So I'm excited to do some more journaling tonight. Definitely just hunkering down and maybe getting less sleep and just getting stuff done.
Can I interrupt you?
Please do.
I think journaling is super important. You know, we did an entire lesson on it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Would it be okay if you could tell us a little bit of like what you're putting in? You don't have to show us a journal.
No,
but
yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
So I take screenshots of my trades, like especially certain ones where I'm like, I want to remember kind of why did I do this. For me, it's a little bit different because a lot of my trades are going to be less based on the chart and more based on the book, which is definitely where one of the issues with Tesla came in. But basically what I'll do is a lot of it's just kind of free form writing. I like writing, you know, kind of a known fact.
That, yeah.
So it's kind of write like, what did I do wrong? And usually on the day, I'll start to notice themes of like, hey, why were these trades working? Why were these ones not? Then when I realized those themes, basically I tried to come up with an action plan. Obviously today, not successful. I lost way more today than I did yesterday, which is not great. But the thing is like, I think if you start noticing these things, you can start implementing patterns. Now for Tesla, the trades that work better were the pure scalps. So it's like Adara, tomorrow you have to get back into pure scalp mode. Always thinking about, again, as Obi says, where's the next trade?
Bang.
The next trade for me is going to be tomorrow. That being said, I did take a cool 1 cent accidental scalp on Soxel, so let's talk about that.
Get it.
No, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I was pretty happy with it. Look at this. We had what to me looked like a bit of a long bounce. I leaned into my keyboard too hard, pressed long. I was like, ended up only taking 1 penny. But the thing is, too, I know I don't have much left, but if I see a trade I like, I'm going to go at it full force with lots of vigor. Brad Gober saying doesn't stay long enough in trade. LOL, I'm messing. You are doing great. Thank you, Brad Gober. Yeah, I've noticed, like I said, too, that's one thing I've noticed through journaling. The longer I'm in a trade, the more questionable these trades become. There were some of those Tesla trades earlier today. If I had just scalped, we would have been fine. Instead, I saved pieces or dreams. Those dreams turned into nightmares. As Beyonce once said in a song long ago, can be a sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare. I find the longer I stay in trades, the more likely I am to tempt those trades into going to the wrong way. Record your screen for the tape, like Obi did, said so for ruler. Yeah, I need to do that, I think, because if the tape and the book are what I'm looking at, I need to be seeing what did I see wrong in the movement. So I need to figure out how to do some of that screen recording. But if there's any stocks you want to see on the record, they're looked at by Obi and Sean over on that big desk. You go in the chat right now. Join, exclamation point, join space, $, whatever ticker you're interested in. Maybe it's Microsoft, maybe it's AMC, Meta, Amazon, whatever ticker you are interested in. Get in that chat and make your voice heard. This part of the show is brought to you by Real Trading. And we're going to talk about some real trades looked at, either real trades you made or wanted to make, or trades that the host made. That's what we're doing. D, in the chat, we are at a prop firm, but you still don't want to be messing with other people's money, that is for sure. So that's just why I always, you got to be hard on yourself. You got to sometimes, I like to be very positive on the show. I am a positive person. I always say long positivity. You always want the positivity to be green, even if your P&L isn't. The mindset to be bullish. But I think right now you have to be realistic with yourself as well. Stock doing something really interesting. Look at these. Kind of bear flaggish, but we are seeing a little bit of a consolidation. Usually these consolidative wedges will resolve in the direction of the trend. In this case, the trend is steadily to the downside on stock which is down a cool 12%. But right now, we're waiting for that bond coming in at 1 p.m. So I have to see what the reaction is on that. Also, I can't believe I've neglected EWIM because EWIM has been in quite the range all day. We've had a nice little support area, 221.20s, bit of a top here at 222s. I wrote this down too. It's like, Simpson style. Though I gotta be more, apprised of this. I'm gonna keep an eye on some of these things for sure. Like I said, we've made some questionable trades, but if there's something I see that I like, I still am willing to go at it with whatever small amount of viciousness I can muster, because that's the thing about trading. If you're confident, you gotta go try for that. I'll let you guys know when I see the auction result.
Absolutely. I just want to remind everybody to get your vote in. If you're not voting, you're not going to see how Obi would have traded your stock. You're not going to see how Sean would have traded it. And maybe they did trade it. And maybe they have an exact, plan that they can articulate to you. Get into the chat, exclamation point, the word join, then hit that space bar, baby, because you got to get that space. And then shift 4, right? Because that's a $sign on North American keyboards. And type in the ticker of your choice. Obi-Wan Kenobi in today for Neil. He'll be looking at the names for you. So will Sean. Bully your friends. Bullying is acceptable here, right? You got to bully them so that they can vote your way.
He points in the direction of Ram when he says that too.
No, I was pointing at the chat, but that Ram is more apropos. No, shout out to Ram. That's the look. I'll be like that one. That's the look there. So guys, get into the chat, vote every day, and have your say on the afternoon rundown. That's what I want to say there. All right, I'm looking at Enphase again. And Enphase looking awfully good over here because it had a big boy day. I should say it's having a big boy day. Excuse me, let me just load it up because it's not updating on my side chart. Got to go down to the Solaire stocks, as Obi calls them. All right. Yeah, Solaire. Yeah, he
I know Uber. I didn't know Solaire.
Oh, yeah, he says Solaire.
Is Solaire a thing?
Yeah. I don't know. I've heard it.
I didn't remember that. That's cool.
Anyway, we're getting topping till candles right now, but that's not really the look. I'm looking here at the volume-weighted average price holdup. This is an awfully strong name. It's up right now 11.5% or thereabouts, and we got a VWAP retracement. Now, the thing is we broke VWAP, right? But it looks like we're holding up generally in that VWAP area, and I would submit to you that this holdup here likely not a VWAP holdup. It is an IB high holdup. Look at this. The implied balance high at 9:30. Shout out to Dan the Man Emmons. 114.50. Lo and behold, look where this candle closes. Right? The opening print of this candle, 114.47. Now, it's all well and nice, but these candles over here that follow that subsequent hold are quite anemic. And there's also declining volume on these subsequent candles. So I want to see more. Now, that's the bearish side of this candle analysis. The bullish side of this candle analysis is that even though they look quite anemic and doji-like, they are putting in higher lows and higher highs. No matter how you look at it, each successive candle has a higher low and a higher high than its predecessor. So even though it looks weak, I want to see more. I don't have to be first over here. And I don't want to give it, I don't want to get in here, because if I get in at $15.50, I have to give it to $14 because that's the area trough. That's $1.50 risk with size, and that will get me in a lot of trouble. So that's not what I want. So I need to see a bit more in terms of holding up, and I want to see increased volume. I don't want to see this anemic volume, declining volume at an area where buyers should be stepping in. Volume weighted average price. So that's my little, rant about end phase. I'm still going to keep an eye on it. As you can see, it's on the side chart over here with the small cap gappers, despite the fact, obviously, it's not a small cap gapper, but we only have so many charts with which to put stuff on. So keeping an eye on end phase. I've got the trade. Go ahead.
We had the auction.
Yep.
4.121% versus the previous of 4.33%, so a little bit lower than the previous number coming in for the auction, so I'll let you continue.
All right, no problem. Coffee trader, Sheriff, Tesla, Tesla at 220 again. I'm thinking short breaking. All right, let's have a look at TSLA. But I like what I'm seeing right now on end phase, guys, because I just want to finish what I was talking about. There is another candle to make another high on end phase. 116 incoming here on end phase, and there it goes. Here comes end phase as it curls right back off the volume weighted average price. This is a good look here. Now it's just about how we weasel our way into the trade. As you can see by the book, it's awfully spready. 19 penny spread on a $100 name. That's not quite wide. That's how much it can cost you just to get in and get out at the same price. So we'll keep an eye on this one, but it looking awfully good right now as it holds up at the volume weighted average price. Oh, come on, dog. There it is, moving up.
That was good. It woke me up. I like that.
Sorry about that, Adara.
No, it was good. I needed it.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
No worries. I just wanted to look at what Coffee Trader said. Tesla at 2020, I'm thinking short breaking through, and then he goes on, it just have to go through VWAP. Here's a look on Tesla. But look at this, Coffee Trader. Surprise, surprise. It holds up generally at the volume weighted average price. Now, VWAP and the 220 area are about 45 pennies separated. VWAP on my chart, 219.45. And yeah, obviously 220 is where it is. But I got to tell you, Tesla is the reason I'm red today. Almost everything else is a positive. So I want to kind of stay away from it. If I don't have a read, I don't have a read. But I do like what you're looking at, right? I mean, normally if I wasn't so beat up on Tesla, I'd be looking to go long VWAP here. So I see your point. I see your point, and I hope you print. No question about that. Yeah. Now, let's look quickly at some other Mag 7 names over here. We did get a 20 exponential rejection on Apple, and now we're making a bit of a higher low, looking to curl into the 20 exponential again. So this is interesting territory over here. If we break 218.50 on a closing basis, that'll be a higher low and a higher high. So what does that mean for me? That means possibly mean reversion back into that volume weighted average price. Maybe. Okay, at least a bump up. Now, it doesn't have to be into VWAP, but if we get that 218.5 closing print, that's a higher high, it's a higher low, and it's a local, I guess, area of retracement. So I'll be looking for a possible long on the dead one Apple at that level. Get it, Adara.
Thank
Goggles on the way up. What did you just do?
7 cents on IWM. Small victories, guys. I was watching. I was like, Adara, you see something you like, you've got to scalp it. You've got to come at it with the viciousness. That woke me up. Whew. Certainly not flawless, but I did wake up like this. Shout out to Beyonce. No, I'm just joking, but
Bang.
the market's waking me up here. Why did I take this IWM long? Well, A, it was kind of rangy. B, I'd been watching the book on this like a hawk. We would get to 222, 221.20, we'd whiffle waffle. We'd have a bit of a moment, but 221 was certainly doing something for IWM. So I decided, Dara, if you see something you like, we were holding that 221.30 beautifully, go long. Really small position because, like I said, bad, not necessarily all bad decisions, but certainly decisions that will make me need to reflect. They were made. So you had to do what you had to do. And in this case, what I had to do was scalp. So I scalped, got out at 40s. I would like to clarify, I don't view this as a frivolous trade. I was willing to take a trade if I felt good about it. I felt good about this EWIM.
Nice.
I could have taken it with more size, of course. Not necessarily a lot more size, but a little bit more size. But, I'm really happy with what I did here. If EWIM decides it would like to bounce off of this line, the 90 MA, I would love to hop into that purple vehicle with it on the 90 MA and bounce off with it. Happy I had that trade.
Nice, Adara.
I appreciate that. You have to feel good about things. Not like it was a massive winner, but it was a trade I liked and felt good about. And I think that's sometimes really all you need. Also, TSLA, not one that I will be trading right now for risk reasons, but as a book scalp, if you trade it as a book scalp, as I said earlier, I found it to be pretty decent. I do agree with what you and Coffee Trader, I love your name, by the way, have to say about this VWAP bounce. I also am seeing lower highs here on the book on TSLA. Or on the chart, sorry, and also a little bit on the book. So I want to wait and see what happens here. But I will say, trusting the chart on this to some extent has not always been the vibe on TSLA. That's what got me a little bit wiffle-waffled and chopped up on this. I liked it as a short on the 221.30, and I was like, oh, but it's bouncing. And it got long, and that was not the vibe. So trust yourself. Have trustla in whatever you see, is what I'm trying to say here. If you have reasons, if you have enough confluence for that, power to you. That is what I want to say on that. Also, Jay Lee was saying like that he, I guess, views journaling as more helpful in the longer term, or the swing was asking my thoughts. I like journaling as a day trade thing because I think it does help you parse through what your thoughts were in the day. As someone who I feel like is really working on psychology and more specifically minimizing the losses on the day, I think it's been really helpful because it's like, what are you losing on? Why are you losing on it? What could you be doing differently to not do that? And to me, that's where I find it helpful. Also, I have, in addition to my journal, I have a little document on Google Docs that I call tickers to look at, where I just have levels of tickers I like, little notes to myself, little fun quotes to keep in mind. And I just think anything for me that I think helps with the mental to put me in that positive mindset. I think if your mindset is bullish, maybe or if it's green on the day, your mental P&L is green, maybe you'll make your physical P&L green. I will also say that avoiding looking at the blotter has helped me a little bit with that as well. So that's my take on that. Almog, I like that. Thank you, Pepper Potts. I appreciate it. Try to keep the energy high. But Almog saying, may I ask why I haven't seen you do more small caps? Because I know you're reviewing at the desk for quite a while, and personally, due to my account, etc., I love them lately. I like the question, Almog. For my style, I cannot do small caps because you have to take, I find, a lot more size to be effective with them. And I also, the way that they move, I like my ranges. I like key levels of support and resistance. I like things I can get in and out of really quickly. I have traded small caps. There have been a couple small caps. And I actually, the one thing I do use, I find I use a lot from what I do in small cap recap is the IWM. I don't necessarily like trading the small cap names themselves just because, and again, I will if stuff presents itself to me. It's just not really my style of trade. Like I said, I love that Sharif can do the small caps and the large caps. That is not, really something I'm comfortable with, but I want to shout you out for that. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, Almog. Not for my personal style of trade, though if I see one that's moving in a way I like it, I have attempted them in the past.
All right, we're getting a bit of a bump here on the Mag 7 and on the Future. So decision time for me. I'm looking short on the TQQs for a retracement or now a breach, I should say, of the 20 exponential on the 5. This is not one that this is not an indicator I typically use on the Future, but the respect for it today it's been real, as you can see here. We haven't breached the 10. This is the first time since the opening bell that we are above on a closing basis at the 10 exponential on the 5, but we are finding some resistance, no doubt, right now at the 20. So I wanted to figure out exactly how I'm going to trade this. Do I get in here? We got a breach of it. So the topping tail through right now, and goggles also popped up aggressively as well. So we're going to go short here, and I'm going to go to the high. So 67. Where am I? Woo! Already printing. All right, so there we go. We'll get that print. All right. Yes, 67. We're going to go 22s and then 67, 25. There we go. We're nicely in the money. Let's go a little bit lower over here. If we can get down a little bit more into 67s. Let's see if we can get a bit of a more nicer 20 exponential rejection on the 5 is what I'm looking at over here. Stops in place, beak wetters in place. Now, I'm seeing AMZN breach the 20 exponential. So somebody was just asking me about the 20, about Amazon. What do you think about Amazon here? It's breaching the 20 exponential while Apple is rejecting it. So is Softy, NVIDIA, excuse me, on its way up to the 20 exponential at 116 and 2/3. Hasn't touched it or breached it yet. Obviously, Tesla's been doing its own thing. We really kind of not gauging the market sentiment based on how Tesla is trading because there really is no overlap at the moment. Now, what I'm watching is whether we get this nice pushback down on the future, whether we continue up. We already wet our beak on it. Now, decision time. Now, while I watch the future, let me tell you about this. Goggles breached the 10. It breached the 20. And then the 50 came into place at 173.75. And you got a rejection, a nice move down. That would have been 50 pennies for whoever took that. You take the 75 touch, you got a 25 touch right there. So 50 pennies, quick as you like, midday on goggles. Typically an atypical day for goggles in the sense that it doesn't usually move 4% in one day anyway. So I'm packing my patience here on this future. We still haven't decidedly taken or rejected, excuse me, I can speak English. The 20 exponential on the 5. So I'm packing my patience, see if we can get a nicer move down. Stop is already in place, come what may. Let's see what else everybody's talking about over here. Ron Campbell says SQQQ, SDOW. What's SDOW? Is that short Dow? What is S? It is? I've never seen that before. Thank you, Obi. Yeah, it trades on the ARCA. Pro shares, Ultra Pro, short Dow, 30. Is it levered? It is the correspond triple the inverse of the daily performance of the Dow. So thank you for that. I did not know about that. Ron, UDOW, that's the normal? Triple bull. Thank you. One Canob dropping hot lines there. Remember, who remembers Jag, the guy that used to sit over here, Ram? He traded up a storm on the Dow. Well, no, that's Trenda. Ram had Trenda already. I love it. Yeah, he used to trade up a storm on the Dow, the YM, we call it around here, because that's the ETF, the non-levered ETF. So I'm packing my... What happened, Ram?
Jag got reincarnated as Trenda. What?
I didn't plug in. Now I'm plugged in, Ram.
Me too, because she drops hot lines.
She drops hot lines all the time, yeah. Well, you know, Jag may take a little bit of offense to that, Ram. I don't think he wants to be a turtle or a stuffed, puppet there, whatever it is. So a shout out to Jag. Yeah, he's not here anymore. He's helping up his old man. So what do we got over here? KC, triple Qs, trying for bull flag consolidation. Bull flag? Really? On the triple Qs? I see a bear flag, my man. This is not even a hockey stick. There's no curl in this. This is just all the way down. Yeah, so
It's kind of sad.
Yeah, what I'm looking for here, guys, is whether we reject or take the 20 exponential. We haven't been at the 20 exponential all day, so that's why I'm holding this futures position short on the T triple Qs, seeing if we can weasel our way down. Stop's already in place through the break of the fifth of a dollar.
Is the VIX halting? Jay Lee was asking if the VIX is halting.
Impossible. How would the VIX
I cannot see. What is the ticker for that one?
VIX.
VIX, yeah, I'm not.
No, it's not.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I mean, I will say, I tried to take a trade in EOM, did not work out. I liked it as a long. I thought we were bouncing up the 90 EMA. We didn't. I got out. I can't trade anymore today. I will say that, like I said, not proud of what I've done the last few days. I might have to go in the Sims War just to reset, to refocus. The journaling will be intense tonight. It will be fast. It will be furious. It will be vicious. It will be swift like the market. There will be lots of journaling. There will be a lot of reflecting because, like I said, if I feel like if I'm in this seat, I want to be learning every single day. And so I want to make sure I'm, giving this seat and the honor to be trading here the respect it deserves because I do take it very seriously. And also, speaking, the trend of close-up reminded me, if anyone watched the market recap yesterday and was wondering why I was dying laughing along with Ramin, I have an insider story for you. So basically, Ramin so when I'm at the big desk, I can see the monitors, and Ramin had just done a close-up of Obi's face from way back over there, and I could see it in the monitor, but she hadn't aired it because Brian Shannon was talking. So Brian and Shannon and Sean are talking, and I am just looking at this close-up. Obi doesn't realize that this close-up exists. Ramin and I are the only ones who know about it. We are dying laughing. She cuts to it for a brief moment. It's a brief mirage, and I break down. I'm like, oh. But yeah, so anyway, I just remembered that because of the trend of close-up. Shout out to Ramin and Fabian, always doing the most in a good way, as Sherry says. Also, yeah. But imagine this, but grainy and way more closed up from where his desk is. It was dark. It was shadowed.
Ram, she'll do anybody dirty at any time without remorse, without repercussion, without consequence, nothing. Ram lives in her own world with her own rules. and there's nothing that can stop her.
Yeah, no, it was just really funny.
So shout out to Rem. I got stopped out, and this is quite annoying over here on the future. I got stopped out literally top wick. I still like this trade. There are 2 candles of indecision at on the 5-minute. Both are at the 20. Neither has taken it. I'll get back in if I have to. No question about it. This is what I'm seeing on the 5-minute chart, guys, with respect to the NQ September contract. These 2 candles right there at the 20 exponential of indecision. Now, if they curl back up, I will absolutely change my bias. If we close above here and get really strong and start to mean revert, I will go long, and I'll go long with size. But we're going to have to see what we need to see first. We're not going to guess whether we do that or not. And quite frankly, if I was put to the gun right now to guess, I would say we reject. Because look at all these candles where none of them is taking the 20. We have Microsoft below, Apple's below, Amazon coming right back into it, Meta's below. Google's really the only one above, Tesla obviously as well. NVIDIA though, this is where things can get interesting. Now look, NVIDIA's putting in a nice rounded bottom. It's breaching the 20. Still big boy right on the day, 4 3/4. So I'm keeping my patience here. I don't want to get in for no reason and then get stopped out again. But if we reject on the future, I'll get back in. If we take it, I'll get back in as well. And that's kind of the way that is. So watching, still don't have it quite yet. Or I don't have what I want to see quite yet. So I'm packing my patience there. NVIDIA is going though. Here comes possibly 117 on NVIDIA. And we have pivot point support level 2 at 117, the 5th on NVIDIA. So NVIDIA coming in. NVIDIA's breaching the 20 like exponential, like it doesn't even matter. Here comes 117 on NVIDIA. Good curl up there off that 115.55 bottom. And we're at 117 minus 4 or 5 pennies. Here we go. Here it comes 117. Could we get a nice curl up here on a consistent basis to help propel this market for a possible mean reversion? And there you go. The future popping up as a result of NVIDIA there, Adara. The future made another high. So here we go. This could still be a fake out breakout, but I'm going to pack my patience because I'm very interested in here on a trade. Now, we also have Tesla popping up. Goggles is right back into the 50 exponential on the 5, rejecting off that 173.75. So the market possibly here, the winds of change, especially, I mean, forgive me for not being so quick to go long. We're down almost 3% on the market on the NQ. Like, forgive me for not being,
You are forgiven.
Yeah, like I'm talking to myself here. I'm trying to convince myself, why I haven't gone long. That's really what's happening here, Adara. I'm not really, no one is blaming me. But yeah, I'm keeping an eye on this one. We've breached 117 here on NVIDIA. It's going to be interesting to see if we take this level or not. If we curl back down, I'm shorting the future.
Yeah, that future short. Short that future. Wear like the tennis shorts or the cargo shorts or long
I wore
johns.
golf shorts today, and somebody was asking me, he was like, are you ready to go golfing? I'm like, if I wear short shorts, you're going to be like, yo, why are you wearing short shorts? If you wear long shorts, you're going to be like, yo, you're going golfing.
You can't win.
I can't win
You can't
with
win?
these people.
What? Or do you golf? I realize I don't actually know the answer.
No,
I
I've
didn't
never
think
golfed
you
in my
did, but
life.
I wasn't sure. You wear a lot of polo shirts.
I do.
But you play tennis.
I play
Yeah.
a lot of tennis. I played 4 hours worth of tennis this weekend, Adara.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was, we played up a storm. I was very
Tennis is
happy.
fun. Like, I'm very bad at tennis, but it's a fun sport. Also, I want to shout out Ricky Peters in the chat for telling us about VXX, which is on the Amex. This is a ETF version of the VIX, so this is going on my side chart forever and ever right now. But also, we have a lesson, guys, to get to. If you're wondering, well, at the lesson, hey, I want to look at some tickers, and I want specifically Sean Anobi to show me some tickers. How do I do that? Do I have to wait till they come back on? Kind of, but you have to vote right now. You have 30 minutes left to vote, guys. ~, join space, $, whatever tickers you're fancy. Maybe it's Tesla, maybe it's Microsoft, maybe it's Amazon. Shout out to the Zon there, the Amazonian. Maybe it's Meta, maybe it's Google. I don't know. Maybe it's AT&T. Maybe you want to give them a call, see how they're doing after their earnings report, which is actually not very good. Yet they're trading a lot higher. But whatever it is, whatever you want to see, let's see. You put that in the chat if you have the conviction in that ticker and you want to see what Sean and Obi have to bring there, what the verdict is, what their view is on that trade, you get in there, put that in the chat. This segment is brought to you by Real Trading. It's our audience segment. I've noticed if I talk louder, it wakes me up more, so that's kind of a weird good thing to note. But let's also talk about exhaustion gaps. Speaking of exhaustion, let's talk about exhaustion gaps. So fasten your seatbelts, get in that plane, and we're going to take you on a wild ride here of exhaustion gaps. I don't know why that was the analogy I used. But these are basically potential signals that a trend might be running out of steam or might be a little bit exhausted. So imagine you've got a really strong uptrend that's been chugging along for weeks. And then suddenly a gap appears. It's not upwards though, but it's down to the downside. This is going to be an exhaustion gap, and it's basically a significant jump down in price with new trading activity in between, and signifies, potentially at least, a loss of momentum in the potential trend reversal. We call it an exhaustion gap because it shows that the earlier trend seems to be a little bit tired, and it might need a nap before we see that trend continue. So here's one example. Look at this exhaustion gap. We've got this uptrend, quoting to the downside. Don't know what that sound was, but that is the market giving up for a bit. I did not mean for that to sound like that. Apologies there, guys. But here's one example of an exhaustion gap. You got an uptrend, quoting to the downside. Then we're trying to recover. Oh, we're near support. What are we going to do? We're going to quadrunk again. And we have this with rising volume as well. These are bearish exhaustion gaps, so those are certainly something worth noting here. But why are they important? They show trend exhaustion. So exhaustion gaps are often going to occur during the end of a strong trend, which indicates that buyers are losing confidence and the sellers are gaining control. The bears are growling here, right? They want to get involved. Or maybe the bulls are trying to strike there.
Fair.
If you're in a downtrend and you get this. But they also show increased selling pressure. The gap down suggests a surge in selling pressure, overwhelming the buying force that previously propelled the trend. And they also have a bit of a psychological impact, or they show these psychological impacts in the market because they can trigger fear amongst trend followers, accelerating the selling pressure, accelerating the pressure, and potentially leading to a trend reversal. So let's talk about some examples of trading with exhaustion gaps. So some of this, you'll see profit taking for long positions. An exhaustion gap can be a signal to consider taking some profits on your long position if you have been holding them for a long time, significantly during the uptrend. So here's what to look for. You want to see the overall maturity of the uptrend. How old is this uptrend? If the uptrend has been in place for a long time and there have been multiple prior pullbacks, an exhaustion gap might be a sign that the uptrend is nearing its end. It's in the we're upending the uptrend. There we go. Also, there's some other bearish signs to look for as well. So you might want to see some confirmation from other technical indicators like declining moving averages, bearish divergence on momentum oscillators like RSI or the MACD, and also increased bearish volume. So here's an example of an exhaustion gap. Got this move up. Buyers starting to, as they get to the top of the hill, they're starting to lose their breath, getting a little bit sleepy. Then we see a little bit of a reversal. Then the sellers officially take over. They're like, roar, bears are in town, guys. The bears are going camping. We get another gap, and this is when the sellers get exhausted, and we see a full flip of the trend. So full change of full tides there. But let's talk as well about exhaustion gaps as a shorting opportunity. They can actually provide potential entry points for short positions betting on a trend reversal. However, caveat, cautious entry after confirmation is really crucial. So here's what to look for. You might want to see the confirmation of the downtrend. For example, look for a price break below key support levels or a strong continuation of the downward move after the exhaustion gap, which suggests a stronger likelihood of a sustained downtrend. Also, increased selling volume. The exhaustion gap should be accompanied by a surge in selling volume, signifying a shift in market sentiment or a change on the tides, as Sharif will sometimes say. It also shows a confirmation from indicators, so you might want to look for some bearish signals here from other technical indicators like declining moving averages and falling momentum oscillators. And also stop loss placement is important because you might want to remember to place your stop loss orders to limit potential losses for short positions. Place them above the gap to exit the trade if the price unexpectedly resumes its upward climb. Also, this comment from Roarin on 20s made me laugh out loud in the chat. Hey, boo-boo, we're going to get us some Picnic Bulls. Picnic Bulls, I guess that's a Yogi Bear reference. So shout out to you. The old Yogi Bear cartoon is someone who was raised on that. Shout out to Hanna-Barbera. I saw that and made me laugh. Also, Jay Lee, exhaustion gaps. What happens when Adara is on a 5-minute speed talk about something and requires a deep breath? Honestly, I think all day for me today has been an exhaustion gap. But you know what? Exhaustion gaps just mean a temporary break in the trend. Shout out. Brain, listen to that. Hear that, brain. But let's keep going. Here's an example of an exhaustion gap shorting opportunity. So look at this. We've got beautiful uptrend. Then we gap up. Bit of exhaustion, Then we have another gap, but look, this actually came into that previous area where it had paused. You see this exhaustion gap, the bear claws might want to come out and go to the downside. Yeah, thank you, Bears vs. Bulls. Picnic, yeah, exactly. That's how we said it. Yeah, shout out there.
Picnic basket.
Picnic basket.
That brings back memories.
Yeah, right? Shout out to the little green hat there. I guess, but he was wearing a green hat, so maybe he was like a bullish bear. I don't know.
That's actually a good point.
Right?
I never thought about that.
I'm gonna get a photo of Yogi Bear up here.
We should ask him.
We should ask Yogi Bear. But yeah, also weird. Did you know that Justin Timberlake was Boo Boo in the movies?
No, I didn't.
He was.
What?
Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah. I think they might have even like had him dance to a Justin Timberlake song at some point. But Boo Boo, the tiny bear, was voiced by Justin Timberlake in the movies.
I'm sorry, I know we're in the middle of a lesson, but I gotta digress. Have you watched Alpha Dogs with Justin Timberlake?
Oh.
You gotta watch that movie.
Okay.
It's sad, but it's a hell of a movie.
He's been in some good dramatic movies.
Let me make sure that
He's
it's
not a
actually
bad
called
actor.
Alpha Dogs. It was a 2006 movie, Alpha Dogs. Sorry, I know we're in the middle of...
Also, as this is Google, to answer this question from Mahmoud about IWM flat bottom break, I think 221.30s, I think there's something happening there. I think there's lower highs, but it also gave us a fake out flat bottom break around this level earlier. I would be very cautious.
Yeah, it's Alpha Dog. It's called Alpha Dog, 2006. Sick movie, sad, based on a true story. Sharon Stone's in it, too.
Oh, Go Sharon Stone, yeah.
Good movie. Good
Thank you for sharing that recommendation there. So thank you, Tisha. That was a really rough pun. But yeah, and then also just Brad B saying, Boo Boo was always like, I don't know, Yogi, LOL. Yeah, that's basically how the interactions went. They were pretty one-sided. But you know what? The market can also be one-sided and it can trip you up. So here's some ways to spot false signals. As I was just saying to Mahmoud, to be aware of a potential false break on IWM, how do you spot false signals in these exhaustion gaps? Well, exhaustion gaps can sometimes be misleading, so the price might just be taking a little breather. Before resuming the trend, here are some methods to help you identify potential false signals. So you might want limited follow-through might be something to look for. If the price struggles to maintain a downward momentum after the exhaustion gap and fails to make new lows, it could be a sign of a weak downtrend or potential continuation of the uptrend. Lower volume after the gap is also worth noting because a surge in selling volume typically accompanies real bearish exhaustion gaps. Like we said, volume, it's real. Maybe it's lower volume, it might just be the market chilling out. It doesn't really mean anything. It's when those speakers go bang, when you've got the bass booming, when you have that real volume in the market, that's when you have to take it a little bit more seriously. But what about indicators remaining bullish? If you've got this exhaustion gap and an upward trend, but the indicators are still bullish, that might be a sign you have to go, to reference another cartoon and wait a moment before getting involved. You want to look for conflicting signals from other technical indicators like moving averages or R to the S to the I, relative strength index, remaining in bullish territory, which could suggest a temporary pullback within your existing uptrend. You might also want to combine exhaustion gaps with other reversal patterns like head and shoulders, like double tops, to strengthen, give some extra push up to some extra credence to your bearish signal to improve your confidence in a potential trend reversal. Would you like a water or coffee?
No, I'm good. I brought another water. Yeah, do your thing. All right, let's talk about this futures trade that I took while Adara was dropping said hot lines. This was a level I liked, and so I got in here initially. We wet our beak and then we got stopped out, but I told you guys I still like the level, and this is why. This level over here. So let me show it to you on the 5-minute look. It makes a bit more sense there. So we pop up. Now we're in no man's land. Like, we're above the 20 exponential. The 50's far up here. The volume weighted average price is at 19,500. So what the hell are we doing up here? Who we up here bothering? And so basically what I saw was this consolidation area zone. I said I like this 19,300 and a quarter, and I punched short there, and there you go. Bang went the dynamite. But as per dang usual, I took everything out too quickly, and this is a good trade. Guys, I gotta tell you, I was on the verge of getting shut down, and now I'm like not even halfway. So I've really fought my way back, and I'm happy about that. This is like the best I've ever traded and been the most negative. Okay, that's just that's just the honest truth. Thank you, Katina, man. I appreciate you. So keeping an eye on this. Apple headed right back down to another what's it called? Topping tail candle through the 20 exponential to kind of weasel in people and then head right back down. I want to see what it does at that 75 cent area. There was 15 minutes of hold up there last time. 1250 to that 1 o'clock area when finally we broke up and got back into the 20 exponential. So if we dip back into 217 and 3/4 and we give way at that level, I'm taking Apple short. If we don't, if we hold up at that level, then there was a buyer there, and I'll take this bad boy back up because it will be a higher low. So bottom trough, higher trough, and now if we hold up here, that'll be, albeit very minuscule, higher trough. So I'm keeping my eye on AAPL, looking to scalp this bad boy into an oblivion if I have to, and I really don't mind. Okay, very similar looks on these four right here. The soft one, Meta, the Zon, and Apple, all down into the dang right. Both at different areas with respect to the 20 exponential, and you can tell Apple's 10 and 20 are awfully close together, while Microsoft's a little bit wider. That should you should be able to glean some information from that as well. So keeping my eye on the market, it's been a short to pop kind of day. Sadly, I did get creamed on my Tesla trades earlier, which has me in negatory land, but that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. So keeping my eye on this one. Creamed? You haven't heard that one in a while, eh? Remember, like back. Oh, you're talking so positive. Well, that's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah. Yes,
sorry,
I know you want. No,
light.
damn. I'm not gonna get mad. You hit an animation. Like, what the hell? Yeah. So, in all seriousness, no. There goes Apple. So it shows you that it likely wanted to hold that 217 and 3/4. It comes down into 8s and then boom, shoots up again. So now 3 possible if we hold up this way on Apple. This is 3 higher lows for a possible, well, we know for a fact we have a seller at 218.5. You don't need to be a super chartered market technician to see all the wicks rejecting off that 55 penny area. But if we breach 55, this will be interesting because we're putting in higher lows on AAPL. Now, I also wanted to look at Enphase because Enphase is back at the volume weighted average price. And for the moment, it's holding up. I like this trade. Let's go back to Enphase. This is a lower high, though. We need to be aware of that, despite the fact, oh, come on, bro. You were just at the third of a dollar. Why are you at 3/4? I don't want to chase this. I'm not taking it because I'm going to have to chase it, and I don't want to chase it. Oh, come on, bro. I had the alert. Why didn't it notify me that it was down there? Oh, goodness. Okay. So Enphase is going here. I really wanted that 15.25 and I didn't get it. Now it's at 15.86. My only concern about chasing this is we have successively lower highs. So even though we're moving up nicely here on Enphase, at least off this bounce, look what we did. We bounced off the general volume weighted average price, topping tail candle through 118. That's a lower high than that 120 topping tail that we had earlier. So do we get another lower high here? That's my concern. So I need to see more. I'm not going to chase this, so that's fine. It looks like I'm going to miss that one. What are you printing on over there? The Katina Man is $1 in the money on goggles and NVIDIA on both. So shout out to the Katina Man. Let me guess. You took goggles at 172.50. 42. NVIDIA guessing game. All right. NVIDIA guessing game. The Katina Man wet his beak. I'm going to say at 116.25. There's some consolidation there. 116.16. Okay, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. Keeping it real says, hey, Davis, shout out to you, my man. I appreciate you, of course. I don't know what that means, but okay, that's fine. Alex Martinez is upset about something. I don't know why he's so upset. I'm not sure who he's talking to there. Okay, well, Alex Martinez, we are not talking about politics, but thank you for chiming in. We sometimes talk about politics when it has to do with the trade. Like if we're talking, anything like solar, we talked about earlier.
Or like the Donald John Trump.
Donald John Trump? How can we?
Dump or pump.
Yeah, so sometimes when it is appropriate, we do get into politics, but we don't want to alienate anybody. Obviously, we know there's people from the right side, the left side, and the center. We want everybody to join us in trade.
On the outside and the
inside.
But also, if there's any tickers you want the inside scoop on, go in that chat. Exclamation point, join space, $, whatever ticker you like. Maybe it's VXX, just because that's on my chart right now. Maybe it's T. AT&T at earnings. You want to give them a call. Be like, hey, yo, AT&T, why are you up on kind of questionable earnings? Not to influence anyone to vote for that, but whatever it is, Get in that chat, get your opinion heard. I want to shout out JMCK82 who tagged me before the lesson. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, I'm really just trying to work every single day and getting a little bit better. This is, I think, probably my worst 3-day losing streak. Even like when I was in the sim, I do not like what's happening here. So I'm very excited to take the necessary steps to improve upon things. And I think a lot of that does have to do with a level of brain exhaustion. That being said, I will not be trading for the rest of the day for tired reasons and for risk reasons. So definitely, if there's any tickers you guys want me to look at before we get that afternoon segment, because I will just be looking at stuff, let me know. Please tag me. You can tag me at Daryl LePage, and I can look at things if anyone wants there. Also, there was I have a question.
Yeah.
Sean, where is that Starbucks that you got your Starbucks from? Bay and Charles? I didn't know there was
up a
one
bit.
that close.
Yeah, it's not that far. Yeah, north. You went to the one that's north. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so it turns out there may be a matcha in my future, which would make me, pleased as punch. But yeah, speaking, let's see what kind of matchas we can get in the market. If there's anyone, it's a perfect match. I can't. That was not a pun. But let's see what else is. News is moving.
Julia says Mara's moving nicely.
Oh, okay.
know.
Ramin's telling me another matcha place, so thank you, Ramin. Appreciate that. But let's take a look here at news. Tisha Perkins says news, NUZE. Let's see what the news is on news. I believe I looked at this one earlier, could not find a catalyst. It didn't make the watch list, I know that for sure.
NUZE?
I put Dermata on the watch list instead. NUZE, wow. Sharif, this actually checks both your small cap boxes because we are above the pre-market high here, and we are above VWAP.
I'm looking at right at
And it's actually nice higher highs, higher lows. I don't even mind newsy. News, it's not a bad look. I think the news on this one is I would like to see what we do here at 4:30. Why? Not the time, but on the chart. Why do I say 4:30? Look at, this is like the highest we've been in quite some time. We make a heck of a topping tail candle. We sell off nicely. We dip below VWAP. Then we have our smiley face, and we start going back to the upside. I really like also, again, this quote from JMCK82, and thanks again for this. My kid loves my losing days. We usually go out and fish or do something together so I can get my mind off the market. It's easy to get consumed for the entire session. I think that's really valid, and I really appreciate your thoughts on this. I think having an outlet outside of the market is huge, and so, as much as I want to reflect on the market as well, you want to make sure you have balanced, positions in a balanced life. So I really want to shout out that awesome quote. Also, what do you think of GS, please, says Vikyan Novak. Also, yeah, shout out to you, Joanna Brewster Seg. Breathe. Yeah, I get really excited by this market, and I find the more excited I am, the more awake I am. So confluence, I don't know. That's why I'm trying to keep this energy high.
Yes.
Vikyan Novak, I don't know if you're talking about, I'll look at the daily for you for GS as well. I don't have a really clear read on this stock on intraday other than higher lows, but a bit lower highs. One area that's been really interesting on this for me right now on the daily anyhow or intraday is going to be 494.25. Why? Oh, even more confluence for this level.
That's not that
It's
many.
been a bit more of a subdued day.
Yeah, it is.
But look, we got a pop here, sell off. Pop on a wick basis, sell off. Up again, little baby sell off, pop higher, come back, look where we sell off. That's right, 494.25. And look where we're having another wick down here, 494.25. Do we have higher lows? Absolutely, but we're seeing some weird action here happening at 494.25 that I would be aware of. Is this a level on the daily chart? Let's find out. It's not a level here in the daily. Oh, you know what?
What?
GS gets a second pushback for me because look at this weird level we're at. We have this gorgeous move here. Not one but two topping tail candles are in this 503 area. Then we bounce, we sit pretty at the 90 MA, and we're really struggling to push up here at 495s. However, we have a bottoming tail candle. I'm not saying this looks like crazy bullish or anything, but I'm saying on the daily chart, it looks like GS is trying to have a golden move even higher. So let's see if Goldman can get you some stacks if you're long at this level. That being said, if you're looking at this on an intraday basis, Vikyan Novak, I would be super, super cognizant of that 494.25. For whatever reason, Goldman Sachs cannot hang with this level. Shout out to Sharif. Robbie V, I already looked at CMG a little bit, some Chipotle. I would say we're in a downtrend. I don't have necessarily any thoughts on earnings, and I said this in the week ahead video as well. I think the fact that there was literally a Wells Fargo analyst talking about how bad and inconsistent their portion sizes are, don't think that's a great look for CMG. I think CMG really has to impress with their earnings. I think they need to give you, show that they're making some real guacamole. And I think the CEO has to have a better answer than his answer for their portion sizes, which was if you want more, just some kind of weird facial expression or body language, and they'll give you more, which is has to be one of the weirdest things I've ever heard a CEO say.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so that's my take on that. Yeah, I hope I'm gonna let Sharif talk for a little bit here now. But yeah, guys, if you have any other charts you want me to look at as we head into the end of the session, you have 18 more minutes till the day, but you have 8 more minutes to vote for the stocks you want the big kahunas there to shed their OB-confidence and their confidence on in the afternoon. That made more sense in my head. How are you doing?
Absolutely. We're long. A newsy over here. We're going to give this the old community college try. We'll see if we get a nice pop up. We're long at 77s. It's printing 77s right now. I'm already 0 for 2 on it. I took a couple of trades, as you can see there. So if this one breaks, let's go 365, and then we'll basically get everything out there. Man, I always fumble with my stops when they do come fast and furious like this. So we'll go like that. All right, nice. Let's go. Let's pop up a little bit over here. Let's sit at 95. See if we can get a fill in and around there to come back into 4s. 89 showing up. Okay, seller at 89, definitely. There's a bit of an iceberg. 92 showing up now. Let's see if we can weasel our way into 95. There's a bit of a seller right there. Definitely. There we go. Now we're into 4s. Okay, so we're 25 pennies in the money now. Let's see if we can run up a little bit. 4 is definitely a resistance level because we topping tailed through 4 and then we met a wall of selling. So I like my entry at 77. It gives me a bit of breathing room through 4. So let's see now if we can get a couple of rejections into 4 and then move back up. So I'm going to try to pack my patience here. Where is there a buyer moving up with me? Let's see. There's some at 97s. All right, we're back at 4s. Is there resistance? There's 31 lots at 01s. That's not big, but there's likely hidden or iceberg orders likely at that level. All right, so definitely an iceberg at 4 as we sell off again. Packing my patience, see if we can weasel up back into 4 and give this another community college try. All right, here we go. Right back into that level again. And there's no, okay, well, the size moved down now from 41s from 01s into 00s. So the size that's keeping us down, moving down with us over here. So that's something to keep an eye out on. So now we have to worry about the lottage at 00s preventing us. And there it goes. It got eaten up. 03s now, there's size on 03s. That's getting eaten up as well. 04s coming in, and 04 is a bit of an iceberg there. There was no one selling at 04s, and we rejected. So we're doing the zig and zag right now with 04s. If we can weasel up a little bit into the $quarter, I'm going to take the rest of it out. Okay, showing 10s here. Let's see if we can get a little bit more on Newsy Adara. Maybe overstaying my welcome a little bit, looking for the break of 10s. Well, there is somebody at 04s over here. So right back into 04, into 00s we go, excuse me. At 05s, we have 29 lots thereabouts. There is more size at literally every incremental level. So 4 showing itself here as a level of resistance, at least for the moment. This thing is up 283%. It's up big boy, but I think we're selling off here a little bit at 4 and down we go into 90s. Long at 77 is going to give this one more try to attempt a break at 4. If we can weasel up at least back into 99s, I want to have another look at what we do, and that's going to be the end of the trade there. It looks like if we move down into 77s, because we got a whole bunch of selling pushing us back into the high 80s. Let's see if we pop back up. We do have some possible support around here, but I'm willing to bet we probably weasel a little bit back down because 4 has been a bit of an elusive level for this one. And there's the end of the trade there. So we could have taken out more, and we're going to get out break even on the rest as we dip down into 77s.
Start spreading the news.
Artemis.
Sure, you had a great trade.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Well, I'm negative on it because I was 0 for 2.
Oh, sorry.
Now 1 for 3. Artemis, watch out for the rug pull. You're right. And that was what I was worried about because we've seen its propensity kind of reject at 4. That's what it was doing earlier. It did that in spades. I mean, I know it got into 5, but when you watch, when you look at the chart and see how it was trading around 4s, it definitely was having issues with that. So we'll get at it, Dodge there. Let's have a look at end phase, though, because this is what I was worried about here, and end phase looks like it's a short now. All right, well, how much time do I have? End phase now looks like it's a short. It's getting that 117 rejection, lower high. We put in a 118 top. Last time around, a 120 top, and now this is gonna be the third lower high for what I'm assuming might be a flat bottom break through the volume weighted average price at around 115. So interesting look right now on end phase. It's just about whether I can get in without getting bamboozled. I like this trade. I have about 14 more minutes to trade, and then I got to go up to the big desk, and I'm definitely not leaving end phase to, to its own devices, this thing is nuts. So I'm getting short.
Yeah, don't be phased by that one. Shout out to Sharif. I do want to congratulate you on your New Z trade there. I know you said you were like break even, but that was those small caps are really hard to trade.
They're tough,
so,
yeah.
Like I want to show because
I appreciate you.
You can
You're
trade like you can do earnings names. He's done Meg Sevens.
Hey.
He's done. You know what I mean? So I really want to shout you out.
I appreciate
for that.
you. I appreciate
because we appreciate each other in this here desk.
Absolutely.
And I think that's. You know, we love this community. We love this desk. Also, I want to shout out Mahmoud again in the chat because he was asking me what I thought of a flat bottom break at IWM, and I said, I totally see what you're seeing on it, but I think it will be bamboozling. And IWM was like, yeah, cool, Adara, I'll prove your point. I was like, well, you didn't have to. But yeah, this is what I was kind of talking about here, Mahmoud. I said that 221.30, every time it looks like we're flat bottom breaking, it's like, well, actually, maybe not. To be clear, there's clearly a range here happening between 60s and 20s. There's like a 40 penny range, but it's not perfect. It's not exact, but it's not going to come in every time, I've noticed. So I think that's certainly something to keep an eye on here. Just be aware of this level here on the EWIM. Let's take a look here. Chase Ban saying, I was wondering if BABA will ever come back. I have a nice amount invested. Well, I know Sean, I believe, is involved in Alibaba this afternoon. So BABA Black Sheep, has he any profits? I know he does. He was printing up a storm, as Sure Something says, over this lunch period. But I can take a look at BABA on the daily chart for you, if you don't mind their Chase Bans, because that's what we're all trying to do, chase Bans. But if you have any stocks you're trying to chase, get in that chat. You got 2 minutes left, guys. Do you want to hear what Sean has to say? You want to hear what Opie has to say about your stock? Exclamation point, join space, $, whatever tickers your fancy. Doesn't matter what ticker it is. Is it moving? Does it have movement? Do you like it? Get in that chat. Bully your friends, as Sharif says. Make sure your voice is heard and get involved there. Exclamation point, join space, $, whatever ticker it is. Thank you, Bears versus Bulls, for helping out in the chat, making sure everyone's voice is heard, because we believe in a democratic system here on Trader TV Live. Here's my thing with Alibaba, Chase Bans, is I think there are, and again, I'm not probably have the best read on this, but I am seeing kind of higher lows but lower highs for BABA. I'm going to zoom out. But we had this bounce here at 72s, which was, you know, kind of the end of a downtrend we had starting here back in May 2023. Before that, though, we had a big long range. It's like my dream chart if it was on the intraday, starting in December 2023. And I would say officially ending when we had this bounce here off the 74 level in early May. Since early May, we've been on a bit more of a rumbling trajectory. We had that beautiful 6-month range. Then we get this nice pop up here. We struggle at 89s. We have a bit of a pop, you know, popping, hanging around here around 80s. Then we break lower. We get to 72s, which is just above the low end of that range. That started in December 2023. Then we come back to 80s and we reject, but we make a higher low. I think if we can decisively break above 80s and go to 89s, I don't think that's a bad look here on BABA, but I think BABA is trying to figure out what it wants to be when it grows up right now. The fact we're below the 90 MA with popping tail candles, not necessarily a great look here, but I think the fact that we've made a higher low above that 72 and that 74 we talked about as well as being interesting here earlier, where we had a bit of a change in the tide. So I would say those are certainly levels to keep an eye on. I think the chart, though, is not in a huge trend right now. BABA's trying to figure out what it would like to order from Temu. I guess to use a different Chinese ADR. It is bamboozling for sure, says Mahmoud about the IWM. Oh, I fully agree. So that is, yeah, it's certainly an interesting one. Tesla, speaking of bamboozlers, is coming through here. And my issue, like I said, the trade that really got me all jammed up here was not trusting myself on Tesla. I was like, oh, we're bouncing. It's going to be long. It's like, Adara, you've been talking about that short for hours. Take the short. Right now, though, Tesla, lower highs on a wick basis. We're below the 90 MA. That 220.60 is certainly be interesting. I sound like a sports announcer, but that's because I think Tesla is about to strike for somebody here. It's about to maybe have a home run. We have a couple bullish candles and some bearish candles coming through here. I want to see, I think this could be a key area for Tesla. Note the bounce here at 220.20. 220.20 has been doing something for TSLA, but I want to pass it off to Sharif in his end phase.
All right, we printed nicely there for a 30 penny winner on end phase. I'm still holding a piece. I'm looking at taking almost $1, I guess, at my profit target. I'm looking for a lower high here and another retracement back into VWAP. I want to show you what I'm seeing on the 5-minute chart. This is what caused me to get into it. So we had obviously the biggest and the baddest of the crest right there at 120.18. Okay, I'm going to get stopped out over here on end phase for the remaining amount. I got to be careful. Why isn't it stopping me out? It should be stopping me out at these levels. So I'm going to watch just to see exactly what happens here. It should be stopping me out here. Oh, there we go. Now we get stopped out for the remaining amount. So we'll basically, what am I on then, phase? Let's see here. I'm still positive. Okay, good. So nicely done with that. But this is what I was seeing on end phase. Now it doesn't look like it may not be valid, but this is what I was seeing. Make my point. So that 128, basically 120 crest, we have a 118 crest at that point, and then we had a lower high over here. So I said, okay, this is going to be another lower high, and we're going to come down to test that 115 and a fifth, 115 and a half. But I guess this is maybe more of what I wanted to see rather than what it was actually doing. Because now when I'm looking at it in the way that it's moving, if it doesn't curl back down, it looks like a double bottom defend off VWAP. Not a pattern I was anticipating, quite frankly, and not one that's confirmed yet either. Only way to get the confirmation there is to get a 118 break on closing basis rather than like these candles over here and just wake up into 118. So this one on its way to 117, it looks like, at printing 116.87s right now. But in order to really see a nice move back into 120, we got to close above that 118 on a closing basis. But we shall see what that one does on the day. All right, so let's flip back. We're done our trade with Enphase. Let's see what big tech is up to. Not a whole lot's changed over here. Still everything down and to the right. I mean, there's not much being done. If you were looking for a 218 defend on Apple, I guess you got it, but it's just the range, right? You get 218 to the low side and maybe some $0.50 prints if you're lucky to the high side, but mostly a third of $1.40. So that one's stalling out. Putting in higher lows, though. The one that isn't putting in higher lows is certainly Meta. This has just been an absolute disaster on the day. And I was just walking to the bathroom and I saw on CNBC, worst day of the year for the NASDAQ, by the way, guys. Yeah. So year to date, this is as bad as it gets on the NQ. Well, I'm sure they're talking about the composite, but today on the futures contract, we are down 3% on the NASDAQ. Dang, son. 2.98 Adara. And there's a lot of volume today on the NASDAQ futures. There's about over 500,000 contracts traded, almost 600,000 probably within a few minutes. So definitely a lot of futures trading today involved as, people hedge bets and reorganize their portfolios. We talked about this during the midday. This is typical for July. We do typically get about 8 to 10% pullbacks. That's a healthy pullback. Right now, when we do the assessment from the top of the NDX, and that's all that it is, not the composites, the NDX, if we were to get 10%, that's going to come around that 18,700, 18,600 area. So if you're thinking the bleeding's done, well, maybe it is, but by the 10% standard, we still got more to go. So I'm going to be all eyes, obviously, on 19,000 on the NDX, not the composite, the NDX, because we do have support there. So maybe we make it down into 19,000, healthy retracement. If we break that 10% level, this is going to fundamentally change the market, because then that's more of a correction, and then we could be looking at an absolute or a trend reversal. We're hearing about, the more breadth. Look at the Russell today. I mean, it's not doing well, but the Russ is definitely out of its range. I mean, this has been the range on the Russ at 21.25 point. That takes us all the way back to March 2022. And now we are at the highest point we've been on the Russell since March 2022. It hasn't been a good day today, but it's still very bull flaggish. This is one hell of a bull flag here on the Russ. So if I had to guess, this probably continues, and we know how to measure these bull flags if you have done that lesson with us on chart patterns in the past. So interesting stuff today, Darren, no question about it. Today has been a huge day, an outlying day, I would say, on the markets, both for the Mag 7 and otherwise, and lots of stuff, I guess, to use today as a base. Do you think we print red again tomorrow after 3% today? Whew.
We could.
We could.
This has been NASDAQ. This is going to be cloop to the downside. They want to keep it down on the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is not singing, "Can't nobody break my stride, can't nobody slow me down." That thing has been, in fact, held down. But also, I want to look at Ford here for Ibrahim, because he did mention Ford. And I think we have this one coming into earnings. We're at two interesting areas here. For one, these are both red candles, and it fell below the 90 MA, but they're both bottoming tail, which is interesting. And look where those tails bounce into. That's right, that previous area of resistance at 1360. I find this to be an interesting chart. I don't have any huge opinions on the earnings. I would say, though, it looks like we really struggled with 1460. We've dropped roughly $1 in like 4 days, which for Ford, that's pretty significant. I don't know if they can afford that loss, but let's see if it can motor to the upside. I would like to see it break above 1460s if it is a successful print. If we lose, there's certainly a bit of a resistance here earlier at that 1280 area, but I'm going to let Sharif send it off because you have to.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, guys, we shall see each other very shortly. I'll be on the green screen. Till then, kill it there.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You will kill it as well. But yeah, we'll see you all very shortly. You'll see Sharif, you'll see Obi, and you will see Sean very briefly. But yeah, this Ford, like I said, I do think areas I'd be looking at, not advice, just my take on the chart. 1460 if it's a beat. I would like to see what it does around 1280 if it's a miss, just based on like some levels here. Coffee traders, shout out to your name, by the way. We all need some more coffee, or I at least need some more coffee in here. Just got back from lunch, and Tesla is at my price to go short through VWAP. So let's take a look here at T to the S, the L to the A, and see what that one is doing. It is not on the NY though, Dara. It is in fact on the NQ. So let's take a look at the NAT. Come on, Tesla. Let's go. My Tesla chart needs some coffee.
No, it's like frozen.
We're going to do a last pushback here. I totally see what you mean here. We dropped below VWAP. I would like to see it on the book. Maybe not even necessarily chart, but on my purposes, if I were to trade this on the book, I want to see 1975 test, fall back below. That would be what I'd be looking for. If not that, then VWAP. But yeah, this 219 area was kind of spicy for Tesla. Tesla at every whole dollar level has given you a little bit of interest. So that is my take here on TSLA. Sorry guys, I didn't trade much today. I made some mistakes. This is probably one of my worst 3-day streaks, but you know what that means? You have to trade harder. And I have to say there were no trades. Not trade harder, but like take a moment to reflect and come back harder and say to the markets, hey, I got you. I see you. We're going to push it because there are no trades here that I think were like actively like, why did I do that? It's just about taking management. Okay, so my last Tesla trade was a bit dicey. Trusting yourself, because when you trust yourself, no one else is going to trust you for you. You're the one who has to trust yourself. So that's the look here on TSLA here. I totally see what you mean there on that VWAP test coffee trader. Hopefully you're able to energize that trade. Get the NQ with tourniquet, says Aaron Scott Matthews. I give you snaps for that because that thing is bleeding. That thing needs some, emergency attention. Maybe a court case there for that one. But yeah, so let's take a look here quickly at the Qs because I know, shout out to Elon in the chat saying the Qs had a bit of an exhaustion candle and my chart just looked a little bit exhausted, shut down here. But I'm going to see if I can quickly pull this one up so we can take a look here at the Qs on the daily chart. Don't know if we're going to have a second to do that though because we are going to be passing over post haste, not right this second, but pretty quickly to the big kahunas and my pal Sharif over here. They will be there on the big green screen. And hopefully, whether you were green or red on the day, it's going to give you some great opportunities. Yeah, this chart, not a great daily look here. Wow. Talk about an exhaustion gap. I see what you mean here, Elon. That is quite the blood red look here on the cubes. But whether you were red or green on the day, hope you guys learned something. I hope you had a great time here with us. We had a great time here with you. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat time and the same bat channel. Sharif's at the green screen. See ya.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you